Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Rolls Gracie podcast. Today is the big one. Today, in this episode, I sit down with the one and only Mauricio Gomes. For those who don't know who Mauricio is, firstly, that is a travesty. Mauricio is, well, most people will know him as Roger Gracie's dad. Which I don't think is fair, and this is kind of one of the things that I really wanted to do. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this podcast. It's natural that when you are the father of someone who is as big a name as Roger Gracie, that you are going to be, you're going to be compared relative to him. He's going to be Roger Gracie's dad. But the thing is with Mauricio is that he has such a legacy, completely separate from being Roger Gracie's dad. That so few people know about, because he just is an incredibly humble guy. He really doesn't talk about himself much. He doesn't put himself out there that much. He is doing it in the last couple of years a hell of a lot more than he has in the previous 10 that I've been training jiu-jitsu anyway, which is really, really cool to see. But I really wanted to do this podcast to be able to tell his story and give him a platform, because he really doesn't put himself out there that much. He is that humble. To give him a platform to really show for people that understand who he is as an individual, as well as being, the father of arguably the greatest grappler of all time. The guy is such an important figure, not just in UK Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he is considered the godfather of UK Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He played such a large role in the development of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the UK, that everyone that's doing jiu-jitsu in the UK owes something to him, for sure. But also not just in the UK, but actually the entire world. Mauricio is a legend in the sport, amongst legends in the sport. He's one of the highest grades in the world. He's a red and black belt now, very soon to be a red and white belt, which we do have a chat about. He's been a black belt for almost 40 years. He was deep in the Gracie family back in the day, before they spread all around the world, when it was a very, very close-knit family. He was really ingrained into that family. And, he married into the Gracie family. And so a really significant figure in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu all over the world. So it's really awesome to have a chat with him and for him to tell his story. Man, we go over so much stuff. He talks about... obviously he talks about Roger, his relationship with Roger, and watching Roger become the greatest. But also stories from back in the day, from the Gracies. He, living with the Gracies, training with the Gracies. He's one of the famous 5, which is the 6 black belts under Rolls Gracie, who was considered the greatest, one of the greatest of all time, and definitely one of the greatest of his generation. Talks about Rolls and talks about the Gracie family back in the day. Talks about going to Japan to spread jiu-jitsu, going to the UK to spread jiu-jitsu, traveling all around the world. So yeah, really, really cool episode. Really, really enjoyed this. And yeah, I guess that's it. You guys are probably sick of me talking already. You just want to hear it. So yeah, guys, here it is. Mauricio Gomes. I hope you enjoy it.
Ready as much as I can be.
First, I want to say thank you very much for coming and let me interview you.
No worries.
I've been wanting
to
do it, and the really cool thing is that sort of it wasn't the plan, but the podcast kind of turned into, I think this is episode like 32 or 3 or something, but I've interviewed so many people about sort of the history of UK Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And obviously you're such a big part of the history of UK Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, being one of the first people to come over, that you're kind of going to be the person to tie everything in a little bit. So it's a natural progression to have a chat with you. But yeah, man, I wanted to just start really at the beginning. So, man, when did you first start training Jiu-Jitsu?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I was maybe 5 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
From that young?
Yeah.
Wow.
My father was an aficionate. He loves jiu-jitsu. And he trained at the original Gracie Academy in the city center of Rio. His teacher was João Alberto Barreto, was one of the best teachers because the academy had Carlson Gracie, Reison, João Alberto Barreto, Hélio Vigio, Armando. These guys were the instructors at that time. Hélio Gracie was already he was behind everything. But
Semi-retired.
No.
He was passing off some of the responsibilities.
He still taught, mostly to very, very important people, to have a bit of his time. But he ran the academy, basically, because when Carlos Gracie stepped out and became like a guru to the family, because he was in charge of, the everything that was behind the family. It was him. People will go to him for counseling.
Sure.
Hélio Gracie used to go to Carlos for anything he wanted to talk about. I've seen them talking zillions of times in Carlos's flat, and it was always about what to do. You encounter a situation, and he would talk to the older brother. He was the one that actually told them what to do.
Yeah.
Not that they didn't have their own path. So obviously they did, but they respected Carlos so much that he was the father and the starter of everything that the family went through. So my father used to. I tend to deviate the subject too much. If I start talking too much about one thing,
no. You just go. You don't worry about that. You just go for whatever deviation you want.
All right. So my father used to train with João Alberto Barreto, which maintained a friendship till my father died. So he used to come home, and I used to listen to stories about the Valitudes that my father used to watch. And the subject in the house was...
What year is this? Are we talking about?
Late 50s? 1960?
Yeah.
Something like that. But my father used to train there way before.
So when did that academy open?
Yeah. Boy, then I'm not really good with these dates, man. Come on. I don't really know. Maybe 19... I don't know, man. I really don't know. When I don't know when the exact time that the Gracies went to Rio.
Yeah.
Because they're from Scotland.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know how maybe they put them on a boat and landed in the north of Brazil for some reason that nobody in the world knows. One of those things.
They were there for a couple of generations before.
He was there. If Carlos's grandfather went there, so Carlos's father was already probably born there, and Carlos. So a couple of generations before. And some Japanese fella out of the blue landed in the same city, went to a circus, and they then started doing martial art on the floor. And then Carlos said, "Ooh, that's a good thing to know."
That's how the connection with Maeda first was?
Yeah.
In a circus?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah. So, how did these two get together and why? Nobody knows. And
really?
Yeah. And
because the story that I had heard was that Carlos's dad was a diplomat or worked in the government, and that he helped Maeda with something.
No, kid diplomat, man. No.
Well, he was in the government in some. I don't know. Is that not it? He just saw him in a circus.
Yeah. No diplomat, man. These two met by random.
Really?
God knows what. Yeah.
So
destiny.
How did Maeda come to start teaching the children? Carlos.
No, I don't know. Carlos liked it and went to the guy and said, "I want to learn." And he started teaching him. And Carlos was a nightmare kid. Breaking windows, climbing trees, and hitting people, whatever, causing trouble.
Carlos was the oldest brother?
He was the oldest. Yeah. And then he learned jiu-jitsu and became calmer.
Yeah.
And, learned the art and started to challenge people to fight, to prove that jiu-jitsu was good.
Yeah.
And that was a major thing. They've been doing it ever since.
So a lot of people kind of give credit to Hélio for being the one who really... Because obviously Maeda came from more of a judo background.
Well... apparently Maeda came from judo background with the jiu-jitsu inside him.
Yeah, because he'd already done, like, he was already doing challenge matches with other martial arts at the time.
Japan at that time kept jiu-jitsu as a guarded secret. They didn't really want to teach it to the world because they were trying to promote judo.
Sure, yeah.
You know, to make judo become what it's, you know, Olympic sport and all that.
Yeah.
And jiu-jitsu was something that they wanted to keep for themselves. But he taught Carlos. Carlos developed it a little bit and taught to the brothers. Yeah. Eddie was really, really skinny.
Yeah.
And, you know, he didn't didn't start training straight away. But he was looking. And he, when he started training, he developed a little jiu-jitsu for his size. It's not like he can take all the credit you want, but you know who taught the brothers was the oldest one. His name was Carlos.
Yeah, because would I be correct in saying that Helio Gracie never learned directly from Maeda, and that it was kind of Maeda gave to Carlos and the other brothers, and then Carlos taught to Helio. Helio just watched Maeda teach. He never actually taught directly. Helio Gracie never learned directly from Maeda.
I don't think so, man.
No, that's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah. He learned from Carlos. Taught the brothers. Carlos taught. There was George and Ed. These were the main two. There was another one, Osvaldo. Yeah. And these guys were the ones that George was the main fighter. He was the stocky guy. They used to beat everybody up. Yeah. Ed was the tiny one, and the youngest. And he developed his jiu-jitsu. You know. Every big name that comes up in the family did something for it. Sure. Carlos taught. Yeah. Alu developed it. And then came Halls. Or Carlson. Yeah. You know? And then Halls. And Hickson. And others. And Roger. Yeah. So, you know, each one has, you know...
their part to play in the story of jiu-jitsu. Yeah.
You know, like they climbed the mountain, put their flag up there, came down, then goes another one, put his flag up there, comes down. Yeah. And it's never an ending story because the generations keep coming up.
Jiu-jitsu gets bigger.
And, you know, jiu-jitsu is huge. Yeah. After the 90s, that the whole world thought, ooh, I want to learn that. Yeah. You know, after the UFC exploded with Mario made that to prove, the Gracie family has been trying to prove that jiu-jitsu is the best martial art out there for you to win a fight, you know, and it's
they proved it in one night.
They proved it, and over the years, you know. Not only that, Helio Gracie used to go around with a gi under his arm, said, I want to fight you. And there was a floor or ground floor, said, beat the guy up, go back home.
So there's kind of this whole sort of saying that jiu-jitsu was really developed in those Vale Tudo matches, in those street fights. What do you have any idea why that played such a big part of the development? Was it just that was the nature of the family at the time, that they wanted to prove it just on the streets in no rules fights? Because I can't really think of any other martial arts that sort of have such a history of kind of basically underground fighting, really.
Well, if you start thinking about it, you have a product and you want to sell it. Yeah. So how are you going to know that this product is good? Yeah. Am I going to tell you, no, buy it because it's really good? I said, yeah, well, I don't believe you.
Yeah. They had to prove it.
Okay, so if you don't believe me, taste it. Yeah. So the fight is the same thing. I don't believe you. Bah! Smack you in the face. What are you going to do? Yeah. Smack me back? We got to fight. Right?
Yeah, totally.
And that's it. And then you prove that
it was just kind of like,
there's the clinch.
Yeah.
Once there's a clinch, your martial art went down the drain.
Yeah.
It's if like you don't know what I know, you're going to be tapped out, or I'm going to beat you up.
Yeah. It's like the most guerrilla marketing campaign ever.
Man, it's, people, you want to introduce a martial art. Yeah. There's no other way.
You have to fight people.
20 years ago, next year in October, I'll be making 20 years in the UK. Yeah. So I landed in Birmingham 20 years ago, 19 years ago. Yeah. And you open a little school for some of those that know what you're doing, fine. And then you have people coming to your door all the time. Mm. What do they want? Some, they come, they want to learn. Others look at you,
They
put
wanna
the
test
gi
you.
on. Right?
Yeah.
Can I have a go at you?
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? Oh, no. Yeah, sure. Come on in, man. And you got to prove yourself to the person.
Yeah.
He didn't come there to caress you.
No.
He came to beat the crap out of you.
Yeah.
You got to beat him back.
Yeah.
Or you get, your credit goes down the drain.
Sure.
It's like you go around and doing seminars.
Yeah.
Back then, a big seminar day, you had like 5, 6, 7, 8.
Really?
Yeah. 10 guys at the most. And in the end of the seminar, you got to spar with all of them.
Yeah.
To prove your point.
Obviously, because the people coming to Brazil, I wanted to get onto the kind of you coming to England, but man, let's just go with it. Obviously, when jiu-jitsu was first brought to the UK, all of the people at these seminars, they weren't jiu-jitsu people. They were people from other martial arts.
All of them, or nearly all of them.
So they all want to test their martial art against the jiu-jitsu guy, right?
Exactly.
They've seen Royce Gracie.
Yeah.
That's what's got them the Gracie name, and they want to do the Gracie jiu-jitsu stuff. They want to do the Brazilian grappling stuff.
Yeah.
So then they come from kung fu backgrounds and judo backgrounds and karate backgrounds, and they want to see if it actually works, right?
Yeah.
So
that's one of the reasons why that nowadays, you look back and said, man, there's a big gap there, because when you're in the room and you want to, jiu-jitsu is not only about the groundwork and everything that we do on the floor, right?
Yeah.
You have, it's a martial art like any other.
Sure.
So you have the self-defense, you have the takedowns, you have the groundwork. And for so many years, all of this was kind of neglected.
Yeah.
Because I believe not only here, it's all over the world. Because you go to a country and people have no idea how difficult it is for you to leave your home somewhere, leave your friends, your family, and everything else, and come to another country where you don't know anybody, and it's hostile territory because nobody really likes foreigners, but you respect them for some reason. And if you're a teacher, I learned this in Japan. I stayed 9 months teaching in Japan. I opened the first Gracie Academy in Tokyo. And I was one of the first to teach jiu-jitsu back to the Japanese.
Yeah.
And, when they ask you, they ask what you do even before they ask your name. And they know, oh, I'm an instructor, I'm a teacher. Oh, you're very welcomed. Why? Because you're giving something. You're not there to take.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the same thing happens with the martial art. When you come to any other country that you're a foreigner, and it's difficult, man. It's really, really difficult. It's not that simple.
Yeah.
People think, oh yeah. First of all, you don't make 1 penny. Second, you sometimes, man, you get homesick.
Yeah.
You know where I come from. I was born in front of the beach.
Yeah.
In a very pretty good life.
Yeah.
I had my entire life,
Well, Matt, okay, so we'll get back to you starting jiu-jitsu. Let's just roll with you coming to the UK. Why'd you come to UK?
Destiny.
Yeah?
There was a guy that was my student in Tokyo, and I was at that time, I was like, should I stay here? Should I keep on going? Whatever. But there's something about living in a place where you don't speak the language. And it's difficult because you work 7 days a week. You don't have time for anything, right? And it's not that simple. 20 years ago, you didn't really have internet.
Yeah.
So, you receive an email or whatever and take you a week to read it. But, you're living in a place where you can't talk to people. You can't read a sign. You can't watch TV. You can't listen to a radio. You rely on a translator for every single word you say in the academy, and all of a sudden you say like I'm very thorough in what I like to teach and explain a lot. So you say like a huge sentence, and the guy says 3 words, and he's like, "Man, did you say everything?" I said, "Yep." I don't think you did. Yeah, I did. So what are you going to say? He might as well tell everybody that I'm cursing their mothers or whatever, and you don't really know, right?
Yeah.
So I got fed up with that, and I said, "Well, I was going to go back home. I was going to go back home."
Yeah.
And this guy said, "Well, why don't you think about teaching jiu-jitsu in England?" And I said, "Why?" Because there's nobody there. Apparently, there was
a niche in the market.
Yeah. So why don't you go? But he was from Birmingham.
Okay.
That's why I
Sure.
landed in Birmingham. And I stayed there for like a year and a half, teaching in a very nice place with absolutely no heating for 2 winters and a summer. And the mats were like this thin. Every time you bump your toe on the mat, it was the pain would go to your brain and back like 10 times. And I actually did a pretty nice job for what I had. You know? I had some very nice students. Some of them, actually, one came to visit me yesterday. He has a little gym now in Milton Keynes. And, you start doing something, even though it was extremely difficult at the time. My youngest son was born here and very premature, and we went through a lot with him. But anyway, it's something that, it's very hard, not easy.
No.
Not easy.
Just in general, having to
you
move
know,
to another country.
Yeah, and you. It's not like I was doing something that everybody knew about or everybody wanted. It's the same thing. It's almost,
not like today,
like the beginning in Brazil, where they had to challenge everybody to prove that the martial art was good. You didn't have to prove that the martial art was good because they saw that on TV.
Yeah.
But because of that, everybody comes to you and said, "Well, are we going to do what he was doing?"
Yeah.
MMA. Said, no, you got to put your gi on.
Yeah.
And, people come with their gis that they used when they were 14 years old. And, this one seems pretty good.
Like a rash guard.
They're rough up there, man. And you got to prove yourself every single day.
So would you get, obviously, proving yourself on the mat as a jiu-jitsu instructor is something that still happens these days. People always, the white belt's always going to come in. They've been having a good day, or the blue belt's been having a good day. They're going to try and tap out the instructor. That still happens. But back when you first came to the UK, did you have a lot of people challenging you to Vale Tudo matches, to MMA style matches?
Not Vale Tudo matches, but they would respectfully come in their gis.
Yeah.
And
want to roll.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you teach a lot of stuff, and the guy is looking at you, and he
doesn't care.
Can I have a go at you?
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? Say no?
Yeah.
Run to mama? No.
Yeah.
You got to kneel down and let's go, man.
And it's got to be so hard. Every time that you rock up to the gym that you're probably going to have to fight for basically to represent yourself, to represent your gym, to represent the sport.
Yeah, you have a bad night and you're in trouble.
Yeah. So you have, you don't sleep well the night before, and you're feeling tired.
Your kid's crying all night or whatever.
And sometimes you got to strap on a pair and rock to the gym and know that you got to throw down.
Bound to be somebody there. Monday morning, like 3 huge guys at the door with the faces all and the ears all popped up. So, oh man, welcome. Have a nice week. And that's it.
These days, you still get a lot of people come through, and I'm sure you've had, more modern times. You have a lot of people come through the door wanting to challenge the sport, wanting to test themselves. But it's really easy to send, if someone comes through the door, if they call me out, yeah, maybe I'll have a roll with them, but maybe I'll feed them to one of the, top purple belts. And the purple belts will smash
nowadays.
But that's what I'm saying.
Oh, nowadays it's easy.
Nowadays it's easy because you've got your gym enforcers, right?
Yeah, or you want to, even if you want to have a go at the guy, said, well, go with him first. And then you see what he likes to do, what he doesn't like, his difficulty. Go with that one now.
Yeah.
And you get the guy a bit, is a little bit out of bed. Okay, now it's my turn. Come here.
But back in the day, you didn't
No, you have to do.
You had to be the enforcer as well.
Everything.
Yeah.
You're the front row.
Yeah.
There's no way around it.
Yeah.
No
Just a one-man army.
It's good, man. It's good. Keeps you on your toes.
Man, it must do. And it must breed a very different kind of mentality into you as a human being, knowing that you've got to
survival, man.
And it's not like as dramatic as fighting for your life, but it's fighting for your life in a more.
You're fighting for your
honor,
and your dignity,
which in a way is your life, right?
It's everything, man.
Yeah. So that's got to kind of breed this sort of mentality into you that you've got to be ready for anything, really.
Yeah. Always. You can't. You open your door in the morning, man. You best be ready because you don't know what's going to come.
Yeah.
You have no idea, do you? Nobody knows.
In 2017, nobody really has that problem.
No, these kids, they have it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you get that sort of mentality if you got it so easy in 2017?
They're soft.
I thought that might be the answer.
They're not going to like that, are they?
Yeah, screw it. It's the truth, isn't it? So, Matt, look, we're going to get back to the UK anyway, but the first question I asked you about 20 minutes ago now was, how did you get into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? I didn't realize that your dad trained as well.
Oh, man, yeah. We started back there. Eh?
So
I tend to do that.
No, that's great.
Subject. I'm
that's
really
perfect.
sorry.
That's perfect. Well, this is
okay.
The podcast goes on for as long as it needs to, so you can deviate as much as you like. That's great.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what belt was your dad?
Oh, he went up to brown belt.
Okay, so he was serious about it. Yeah.
Yeah, my father always he worked for the Brazilian government. That's why I have this funny accent, because my father was transferred to New York, and I went to school there for 6 years.
Yeah.
I studied in Forest Hills, Queens, New York.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I lived there for 6 years, and
so kind of just going back to the so you deviate from the subject, but I deviate from the subject as well. But you were talking about you wanted to go somewhere that you spoke the language, so you came to the UK. Were you never tempted to go to America, or was there already enough jiu-jitsu there?
Before I went to Japan, I actually went to California. Yeah, I stayed there for 6 months. I had some invites for that.
Yeah,
but I went back to Rio. And then Carlson called me and said, Mauricio, I need somebody in Japan, in Tokyo. In Tokyo.
You gonna get that? You good?
You
good?
It's Steve.
Do you want to pick it up? We can pause this.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. What were we talking about? We were talking about you went to California, right?
I went to California, and
then you moved back to Rio.
Yeah, I had some invites. You know, I had friends that lived there. I had a really nice close friend that was living in Newport Beach at the time, and man, I really liked the place, but I went back to you know how life is sometimes. You know, it takes you somewhere, and I went back to California, stayed another 3 months, but then in one of these stays in Rio, Carlinhos called me and said, Mauricio, I have a big thing. And I need somebody like you with good English and good, presence to actually
go to Japan,
go to Tokyo, stay there, teach, and open and start teaching jiu-jitsu in Tokyo.
That's awesome, man.
That looked like a challenge. I like challenges, so I went.
We'll get back to that. We'll talk about Japan. So let's go back to you starting jiu-jitsu. So you were training from a child.
Yeah.
From a very, very young age.
Very, very young age. And with 6 years old, I went to the States with my family. You know? And I remember that picnics that we used to get some Brazilians together in Central Park or some other beach or whatever it is on Sundays. My dad used to take a gi.
Yeah.
He used to lay out canvas. And he used to come.
No.
Pass my guard. Yeah.
What, to you?
To me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he'd squeeze me, throw me up, do this, do that. I said, man. And I always liked it.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that you fall in love with it.
Yeah.
Then the stories of fights and I always liked it, man. I always liked it. Always. So when we went back to Brazil, I was like 12 already, and there was an academy on my street. We live in Leblon. And there was an academy, Bernardo Academy. He was right on the corner. He was a guy from the south of Brazil. A huge guy with the arms like that, man. And he used to they drink a very hot tea in the south of Brazil with this metal straw called chimarrão. So he used to be on the window of the academy with his chimarrão, and we used to go to the beach and then back, and he was like looking at us like that. He was funny. Rough guy. But it was a nice, really nice experience.
Yeah.
2 buildings away from my house, so there was no way out of it. Luckily he this gym was there.
Yeah.
Because I was small and I just came back from the States and I didn't know anything about Brazil or Rio or whatever.
Yeah.
And very, very practical, you know. And I stayed there. Then some time later, I decided to start training at João Alberto. Yeah. My father used to go there every Saturday. So I started going with him. And I made friends there. And then I started going there on my own because we moved to Ipanema a year later. And
that's just down this. That's the next beach along, isn't it?
Yeah. Till my mom has that same flat till this day. Yeah.
Wow.
She's had this flat, I think nearly 50 years.
Wow.
And then I started training with João Alberto.
Yeah.
Because it was easier for me and it was better. And that academy was for, you know, it closed. Yeah, closed. He moved to another place.
Okay.
So I started training with João. And I never really got promoted because I was late teens. And then when I was like, 17 or yeah, something like that, 17, 18. I don't remember quite age. Yeah. Whatever. And then he closed, João Alberto closed his academy because he started to do sports therapists for football teams. He was into that.
Yeah.
Sports psychology, something like that. And he closed his academy. And my friends at that time, I was already telling them to go to Halls. Yeah. Because I saw that's where I wanted to go.
So what did you... Obviously, your dad was training with the Gracies directly?
Yeah.
So, and you're hearing all of these stories. So we're talking in the 60s?
Mm-hmm.
So in the 60s, what did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu... I imagine it wasn't called Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It was called Gracie Jiu-Jitsu? Or just Jiu-Jitsu?
Jiu-Jitsu.
It was just called Jiu-Jitsu.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu came when Jiu-Jitsu exploded in America.
In America. Of course, it makes sense. You know, like Americans don't call football American football.
No, Rorion patented the name.
Oh, really?
Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
Uh-huh.
So, and, you know, looking back, he probably did what was best at the time. You would have a bunch of Brazilians or a bunch of guys going to the States, and everybody would want to use Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
And put on their door Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
And they would have to pay for it.
Not being Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, and it would be kind of messy because, you know, when a lot of people leave, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly, right?
Yeah.
So it would be messy. So
it was just called Jiu-Jitsu back then.
He would call his academy with Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Academy, right? And everybody else would have to use just the name, Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
But there was the traditional Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
So to make the difference,
they would call it
this
Brazilian.
was Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
And became BJJ and is to this day.
Yeah.
A lot of people now are actually starting to go back and use just the name Jiu-Jitsu. I've seen it around. Even Roger took the Brazilian out of his his new patch. Yeah.
There's
Roger Gracie, Jiu-Jitsu.
There's a slight spelling difference. If you know about it, you
can
tell.
It's J-I-U.
Exactly.
The other one is J-U.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously you need to already be within one of the sports to know the difference just from that small difference. So going back to sort of what Jiu-Jitsu, what the scene was like in the 60s. You know, how big was it? How many academies were there?
It was not big at all. And Eddie's academy it became small for what it was.
Really?
Yeah. So if you wanted to join the gym, you have to put your name down and maybe wait like 3 to 4 months to get a spot.
Really?
And they would call you and said, somebody gave up, whatever, now you can come.
Wow.
Was
this
like
the
that.
Gym in
the city center?
Okay.
You've been there, right?
In the one in Tijuca? In Baja, sorry?
No. This was in the city center.
Was that the one that
the Rio Branco?
Was that the one that the
Roger's mom had the
exhibition there?
That was where the academy was.
It's a small room, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Relatively.
There was 2 floors back then.
Okay, yeah.
But that room, that entire floor was his.
Yeah.
So there was two whole floors. They had a mat space with chairs so you can watch.
Yeah.
And it was expensive. It was not cheap.
Yeah.
Cheap.
Yeah.
And because of limited spaces, where it was and all that. and all the rest of it. And you kind of think, okay, so that was the jiu-jitsu back then. Yeah, maybe some smaller academies in the suburb. I don't know. Maybe there probably was, but originated from, they were probably ALU students that went there.
Were there tournaments or anything?
No, not at this time. When it started, a bit later, in the 70s.
The tournaments really started.
But very few. In my time, we had like 2-3 tournaments a year.
Wow.
And that was, everybody would get ready for that. There was the state championship. I won my state championship in 1977 because when I went to Hall's Academy, I was still a white belt, but Carlson was teaching at this day. It was a Friday. He put me to spar like with 3 or maybe 4 of his top guys. It was always like that, especially if he knew that you trained. You got to go with them, then you got to go for it.
Yeah.
So I tapped him out, and they couldn't get any close to me. And
you tapped out the students.
Yeah. So when I went back on Monday, Halls was there. And he said, Carlson told me about you. So told you what? Come here, spar with them, spar with that, spar with this. And I made my way there. And
was that the first time you met Halls?
Yeah. No, I've seen him before.
But you met him properly?
This was the first time that I actually met him properly.
Wow.
Yeah. I was right beside him when he beat the Surfers up in Apado in that fight.
Go on, tell me about that.
Oh, they had a problem. Carlson had a problem with one of them. In the water.
Okay.
So when it was a very common situation. People get in trouble because you're dropping on the wave. The guy comes and they say that you dropped on my tail. You know, so you're trying to steal my wave.
Did you surf as well?
A little bit.
Yeah.
So you can't have 2 on the same wave, especially if the guy's a veteran in that water. Oh man, it's a fight right there. You're going to go to the sand and you're going to get in trouble. So you get a guy like Carlson, he'll beat the crap out of you. And then other surfers come, so they want to separate. Whatever, you feel intimidated, okay. Then you go back to the academy, you get a few guys.
You get the boys.
Get the boys and go back to the beach. So they came, I think, in 2 or 3 cars, whatever. And I saw them come in and said, "Oh man, this is gonna be fun."
The surfers came.
No.
Or Halls came.
And the Gracie family with a lot of
all the brothers.
Some of them, and a lot of students. So they come, they but it's a very democratic situation and very, very polite.
Yeah, there were rules of engagement.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's not like fight, throwing rocks. No. You go, you surround the place. Said that my problem is with you. Come here. So you go, you close the circle. Said, okay, it's going to be you and you.
Yeah.
So you go at it, you get beaten up, and you either give up or you're going to get beaten again.
Yeah. And
that's it. And then you go home. This might have gone messy a bit because some others wanted to get involved. Sure. And there was, I remember this huge guy. I never really liked him. He was a bully. He was a karate guy. And Halls beat him so much, and he was on the floor. I said, "Hey, stop. Oh, man, I laughed my eyes off. I said, that was so cool. Then, man. And
so that was your first time you saw Halls was when beating people up on the beach.
Yeah, that was
beating up the big guy.
Yeah, that was really cool.
So obviously
he didn't really. He beat the guy up. Knew that the guy was crying and yelling, asking him to stop, and said, "Stay there." And that was it. It was nothing. You don't stamp the guy to bits or anything like that. It's a clean fight.
Yeah.
No, there's no weapons, no nothing. It's you go there, you sort out whatever you have to sort, and that's it. You go home.
Yeah.
It's what it's supposed to be.
And common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of these fights happen throughout the streets.
Was that common for like before the jiu-jitsu era? Would people fight their problems away on the beach of Brazil before Gracie Jiu-Jitsu was a thing? Or did it become a lot more of a procedure once there were people there?
Organized like this, probably with them. Yeah. Because you have a problem with somebody, this is a very good way to solve it, right?
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
No more problems after that. Straighten that out. That's it.
Yeah.
Go home. He goes home. we're all good. They probably joined the academy the next day.
Yeah.
That's what this guy did.
Did a lot of people, the big guy?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time he went, I had to beat him up because Hall said, I don't want him back here.
Really?
Yeah, beat him up nicely. So I beat the guy up. He came back a couple of times, but never again.
Okay. So you got the message after a few sessions.
Yeah.
So the first time you meet Holes, he the first time you actually was introduced to him, he heard that you'd beaten up his students, and
he said, "Oh, there's a state championship on Saturday." I said, "Well, I haven't been in a competition since I was a yellow belt. Go to the shop, buy yourself a blue belt. You start wearing it tomorrow." And
that was how you got graded to blue belt?
Yeah.
Go to the shop and buy a blue belt?
Yeah, you can use it the next day. So I came back the next day with a shiny new blue belt. And
there weren't any grading certificates? He didn't, call you up?
And what? No, nobody cared about that.
Really?
Yeah. I got my black belt.
Was that standard?
I was training.
Yeah.
And this was after a competition. I won the competition on the Sunday. Actually, it's the only fight that they have with black and white mine on the internet.
I've seen it.
You've seen it?
Yes.
Well, the very next day, I was training, and Hall said, "Mauricio, stand up." And this guy, a friend of ours, came from Japan, brought a Mizuno belt.
Yeah.
And he said, "Tie this on your waist." So I got my weight tied. Congratulations. Okay, go back training. That was it.
Wow. So what do you think of that compared to how they do it these days?
Oh, it's nice. I like it.
Yeah, it is nice. It should be a special moment, right?
Yeah.
Especially for a black belt.
Yeah. It's because nobody really cared.
Really?
Nah.
So what, the black belt wasn't significant, or?
It was, yeah. You have a black belt on your waist. It's really nice, isn't it? Nice
but even
belt.
Yeah, of course that's what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
you would think that would be significant to them.
It was.
It would be important to them. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Not really.
Yeah.
It was nice to have it.
Yeah.
You got there, but there's no formal speech or anything like that.
No whippings.
No, not.
Was there any
not as
hazing
a
of any
black
kind?
belt, no. Huh?
Well, did people used to get whipped at the lower belts?
I don't remember people getting whipped in Hall's Academy. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Or maybe it did. No,
There's a lot of debate over.
I don't really remember.
There's a lot of debate
anybody.
over the origin of the whole whipping thing. Some people are saying that it never even really happened in Brazil back in the days, and it came into
It's
more of
funny
effect
now
in
that
America.
you mention it.
Yeah.
I don't really remember it. I don't think I would have remembered.
Yeah, probably.
Certainly nobody whipped me.
Yeah, you would have remembered that.
Yeah, in any of my belts or in any of my friends' belts. No.
No whippings.
In our account, no. Or in Carlson's, or no.
No.
Because we were in the same building. Halls and Carlson, we used to.
Really?
Yeah.
Two different academies in the same building.
Yeah, we used to. Man, we used to all enter the competitions as one academy.
Okay.
Ed's Academy, Carlson, and Halls was Academia Gracie.
Uh-huh.
We entered the competition as one.
Yeah.
But our teams started to get big. Carlson got bigger right from the start. The real championship was in our academy because we had to fight the Rolls Gracie guys, and they had to fight us.
Yeah.
Because only two or
you had to decide who was going to go.
Who was going to go, and you have to fight for your space.
Wow.
That was the competition was easy.
Yeah.
Because, get some poor guys from the suburbs or whatever that didn't even get run over by a truck.
So you've got Holz's Academy and Carlson's Academy.
Yeah, it was
in
the same
gym.
building. On the top floor was the main mat, and on the second floor there was two small ones. So we had the mat upstairs Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and the smaller ones on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and vice versa.
Wow, you literally shared a mat.
Yeah.
So why wasn't it just one gym?
Well, because there were two different persons. Halls was one, Carlson was.
They were they were so different from each other that they couldn't really coexist in one team.
Yeah, there were
in one.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't happen. No. When did
that split happen? Because obviously, there was before Carlson became Carlson Gracie.
Oh, Carlson Gracie became Carlson right as soon as Elio retired after that fight with Valdemar Santana. Then Carlson came in. Carlson was a lot older than Halls. Carlson was the firstborn child.
So as soon as Elio retired,
Carlson came in play.
And
he fought Valdemar Santana to honor the family name.
Were you there?
No.
That was before you started training?
Yeah, my father was.
Really?
He saw the fight, yeah.
Did he tell you, ever talk to you about it?
Yeah. It was amazing. Yeah.
What did he say about it?
Oh, man. It's the whole atmosphere, you know. Helio Gracie couldn't walk the street from here to the corner. They would stop and want pictures and autographs. And, man, you have no idea how the Gracie name in Brazil was
back in the day.
Royalty.
Yeah.
Royalty. It was something out of this world. They couldn't even walk the streets.
What caused that popularity? Was it
of this
from the UFC?
All of this,
or was it just from the reputation on the street?
No, this was back in the day with Carlson.
This was long before the UFC.
Yeah. They were challenged. They were in the newspaper, the front cover of the newspaper every single day.
No.
Yeah. They were really, really, man, that was news. You know, they were challenging this big guy, and the guy got beaten, and then the guy would say, "I want to fight again," or whatever it was, and you know, this would go on and on and on, and people loved it.
Yeah,
loved it. Really, really did.
So the Gracies are celebrities at this point.
Oh yeah, absolutely. To this day,
so
in our country,
yeah.
So absolutely.
It's still
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So yeah, the match with Helio Gracie and Vladimir Santana, and then the
it was
the vendetta by Carlson.
Yeah.
So that was in what? It was in a stadium or it was in an arena?
Man, some of these fights, you know, Maracanã Stadium, the football stadium.
Yes.
Some of these fights were there.
Get out.
Yeah. Some of these fights were there in the football stadium in front of thousands and thousands of people.
Wow.
It was a big deal, man.
That's crazy.
Really big thing.
Yeah.
And Carlos, every time, if Helio was going to fight a Japanese guy, he would say, "Are you Chinese?" Shaking the guy's hand before, just to get him angry. It's funny.
So Carlson, after he beat Vladimir Santana.
Yeah.
Vladimir came from...
Valdemar.
Valdemar, sorry. What lineage did he come down? So who was he trained by?
All the origins are in the Gracie Academy.
They're all from
this
the
guy
Gracie.
was from there.
He had defected from the Gracie Academy.
Yeah.
And that's where the problem had come from.
He had a problem. He used to be a student. He was a very arrogant guy, you know.
Helio was all. Yeah,
very angry. And apparently Valdemar used to look after the academy. He used to, we called it roupeiro at the time. He probably looked after the geese, kept the place clean.
Like a janitor.
Yeah. Something like
caretaker.
that. But very fit, strong, and guy that trained there.
Yeah.
And till this day, we used to have gyms that, you know, you can train here for free or whatever, but you can live in my gym or, you know, look after whatever.
Yeah.
It still happens these days. And Valdemar was one of these. And they had a problem with Helio. I don't remember what the problem was. And then there was this one night that there was, they didn't have water that whole day in the building. Valdemar left all the taps open. Really? The water came in at night. So it flooded the academy.
He did it on purpose or it was an accident?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I said, I know that Helio arrived the next day and everything was flooded and he got really upset. When he got upset, you know, you probably end up saying things that you regret later, but he ended up saying whatever he had to say.
That was the spark.
That was the guy left, joined some other guy that didn't like Helio. Helio was the kind of guy that you either loved him or hated him.
Marmite.
Yeah. So, you know, so he joined with this other guy, said, "Okay, well, I'll help you train and you fight Helio." And they fought that historic 3 and whatever time, 3 hours and 45 minutes, something like that.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Imagine fighting like nonstop.
I can't imagine fighting like that. The longest match I've ever had. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really my face.
How's that? How's that?
Yeah, better.
Yeah, the longest match I ever had was 19 and a half minutes, and that felt like it was an eternity. I can't imagine fighting
it's like
for 3.5 hours.
Fight that Roger had with Cacareco in the final fight of
50 minutes, right?
40 minutes, and he was sitting on the floor, and Hamza said, "I think this guy's tired." So he tapped him on the back. "Come on, man, go to your corner. Got 10 more minutes to go." Yeah. The guy looked at him and said, "Yeah, no, that's enough."
So, okay, so what was? I guess when you were training with Rolls, then they didn't train with each other, even though they still represented the same team. But what was the relationship between Carlson and Holes?
Explosive. They will always argue for
Really?
something. Yeah, but they're brothers.
Yeah,
You can always argue, not agree with everything that one says, but there was the mutual respect. Yeah, sure. And
what was it that was so different between the two of them, mentality wise or attitude wise?
They were completely different persons. Carlson was a guy that very blunt, said everything, and the Halls was more polite, more laid back when he wanted to, and it was different. It was they were very, very different.
Yeah.
I liked Carlson a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah, we always talked a lot. He loved Roger.
Really?
Yeah. He used to love to see Roger fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Holes, and he used to do quite a lot of the Vale matches, right?
No,
or the Gracie Challenge matches.
They did the Gracie Challenge match. There wasn't Vale back then. They stopped for a while. I think they were forbidden for a while, especially on TV, because the thing got to a point where the fights were really, really ugly.
Yeah.
It's like the fights that we see these days.
Yeah.
Some of you watch an entire event, and maybe one or two fights are nice. All the rest are really, really boring.
Okay, yeah.
And it was the same thing, because the quality of the fighters weren't that good.
Sure.
So there was this guy that used to stamp each other, the people's feet.
Yeah.
He had a big foot, so he was stamping it. And another. They were very bloody and not very technical.
Yeah.
So they were ugly.
Yeah.
So you were sitting in your living room back then. There was no cable TV, right? So there was on national TV. You're sitting in the living room with your family, and then all of a sudden there's blood everywhere. So, oof, you don't want to watch that.
Yeah.
So they took it out of television, and I think it started again when Hickson fought Zulu. Yeah.
That was a big match.
Yeah, it was two fights. He fought once in Brasilia and another one in Rio. I was there. I watched it.
So where was Hickson training at this time that you were training with Holes?
Hickson used to come and train at our gym a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you train much with Hickson?
I trained a lot.
What's Hickson like?
He's a very nice guy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And what was his jiu-jitsu like?
Oh, amazing.
Really?
Yeah. Very extremely technical, yeah.
What you're talking about Hickson, like people refer to Hickson of one of the arguably the greatest. Some people will call him that. What do you think about that? I don't know, man. Apart from and I'm talking of that generation, of that era, because obviously it's a very, very different sport nowadays.
Yeah. Well, every generation
has their one. Yeah.
Has their one, right?
Yeah.
Halls died. Then came Hickson.
Yeah. So and I kind of wanted to talk a lot about Holes, because Holes is this legendary character.
Yeah.
That a lot of people have no idea about. He doesn't have the sort of legacy for a mainstream as Hoist does, as Hickson does, because they were a little bit later on.
And the thing is that Hall's life was cut short, right?
Exactly.
He was 32, 33 years old when he died. And,
in his prime.
Yeah.
So,
and he had so much to offer and to do yet,
people in the know that Holes is renowned as being possibly the greatest ever.
Yeah.
Was that true?
Yeah.
Really? He was that good?
Yeah.
Really?
No doubt about that.
How old was Hickson when Holes passed away?
Not really sure. Hickson is not much. He's just a bit younger than me. I think 4 years younger than Holes.
Than Holes was? So they were basically the same age?
Yeah, it's not same generation.
So, yeah, so Holes used to roll with Hickson a lot?
Yeah, Hickson used to go there to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did that role look like?
Oh man. It was nice to watch.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. House was our idol, man.
Yeah.
He was everything to us.
Yeah.
He could train with all of us with such an ease. You know, he would teach a position and said, now I'm going to show how that this position works. And he used to
Do it on everyone.
catch all of us in that position that we just
And Hickson
studied.
as well?
Everybody.
Wow.
Everybody.
Yeah. It is, you know, kind of, there's no one out there which, it's such a shame that he was taken so early because he did, you know, like you said,
I think some people come to this world and their mission is complete and they need to leave to go do something else somewhere else. He was one of them.
Yeah.
And 3 of us are he made 6 black belts. One's dead. 2 don't really do anything with it. And 3 of us are going to receive our certificates in Vegas in a couple of weeks.
We were talking about this earlier. So you're a coral belt, which is a red and black, right?
Yep.
And how long after getting a black belt does it take to reach that?
31 years.
31 years. And then after that, how many years until you get what's it called? Is it, what's the red and white belt called?
I have no idea.
Just red and white belt.
Yeah.
How long does it take to get that?
7.
So you're talking 38 years.
Yeah.
And how many of that belt are there out there?
That I know of? Maybe not even a handful.
Really?
Yeah. And, you know, if you actually, okay, which ones are recognized by the IBJJF?
Sure.
Because we are.
Yeah. You get given your belts by the IBJJF.
They give me the certificate.
They give you the certificate.
Yeah, my belt I'm going to receive here in our gym.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on the 9th of September.
Do you know who's going to be handing it to you?
Hansel.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
She did everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because what belt's Henzo now? He's a red and white?
No. He's still a black belt.
He's a black belt.
Yeah.
He just hadn't served the time.
Yeah, I would have to bring somebody from Brazil.
Yeah.
It's not that simple.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Hansel's right around the corner. He's easy to come here.
You drop a word in. You tell him that Daniel Strauss wants.
Anything. She did.
Daniel Strauss wants to get him on the Rolls Gracie podcast. Yeah. Just drop it next time you're having a chat with him. You just drop that in. I just need a couple of hours of his time.
Man, it's gonna be really. I didn't want to do anything. When I got my corral belt, I didn't do anything. I got my certificate at the Worlds where
I was there.
You was there in 2010, and then
I was actually there in Brazil in 2008 when we visited the headquarters of the IBJJF.
That was your first time there, wasn't it?
Only time in Brazil.
Yeah, you guys had a flat in Copacabana.
Correct. Yeah.
Very colorful on the floor underneath. I remember that. Yeah,
that's right. And that's right. Yeah. And I remember we went to the IBJJF offices to sort something out for the Rio State Open, and I remember you coming out and saying, "I'm getting my belt changed," and I didn't even know that there was a belt above black belt at that point.
Yeah.
So I remember that, and then a couple of years later, you got given your corral belt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you didn't do anything to celebrate that? Is that
no? I got my certificate at the Worlds. Roger won his absolute.
That's enough. That's enough of a celebration. Eh?
Yeah, I went to Rio, and the guy that owns Keiko was there, and he used to sponsor Roger.
Yeah,
and he said, "Oh, please let me make the belt for you."
Yeah,
and he did, and I've been using it till this day.
Same belt.
Yeah, I had 2. One is gone, and this one is survived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just long enough. You need to survive for a couple more weeks until you change it over?
Yeah.
A month.
I got to receive. I didn't get the other one yet.
Yeah.
And then when I get back here.
Are you going to do anything to celebrate your red and white belt?
Not really.
It's just another thing that holds your gi together, right?
It's like a grading, a normal grading.
Yeah.
Hands will come, change the belt. They're probably going to make me say some whatever word. And that's it.
Yeah.
Back to normal.
Yeah. So there's 3 of you that are still training.
Yes.
The under holes.
Yeah. Jacaré, the head of the Alliance team. Mas Macaron, that has a gym in Connecticut, and me.
Wow. it's such a, it's by far the most exclusive lineage of anyone in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
I'm
Sure,
very proud of it. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you know how many black belts you've given out?
9.
9.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you know how many black belts come directly under the Rolls lineage? So from between the 3 of you?
No, I have no idea, but Alliance has a lot.
They have a lot.
Jacaré probably gave
Of course,
a lot, yeah.
he can make many belts out here.
Max Macaron, I don't think I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Because that's a very
keep
special
track of
lineage.
these things.
Yeah, it is. So going back to Rolls, of course, he passed away tragically in a hang gliding accident, right?
Yes.
He was big into the hang gliding stuff.
Man, life is funny. Life gave him 2 warnings.
Yeah.
He fell in Rio twice.
Doing hang gliding.
Yeah. Fell in the trees down below the where you jump in São Conrado. And one of them, he was on TV with his face all scratched up, whatever. And then they went to a city outside Rio called Visconde de Mauá. It's a mountain city.
Yeah.
And that Friday, man, this is really curious. That Friday, he called me all day. Let's go. And I had a really, really weird feeling.
Really?
Such a weird feeling that I was going to work on that Friday morning. And I lived on the same street as the academy. And when I was going down the street in my car, the stoplight, and I stopped, and Halls crossed the street. And normally, I would have blow the horn and call out his name, whatever. But I kept quiet because I said, no, he's going to bother me to go to that, to Visconde Mauá. I didn't want to go. I don't know why.
Wow. Had you been hang gliding before? Or
No.
You just got
but it was a very nice place. There's loads of waterfalls there.
Yeah.
So you go there, you go for dive in the river, go down the waterfalls. It's really nice. Mm. And they have this place they do hang gliding. And I didn't want to call him or anything because, no, he's going to bother me again. So I waited for him to cross the street because it was right where the academy was.
Yeah.
He was going to the gym. He crossed the street, did this, and it was the last time I saw him.
Wow.
And on Sunday morning, he went with another couple. Sunday morning, the wife of this other guy called me 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:30. Oh, you have to come here. So I go there to do what? Oh, Halls had an accident. So what do you mean had an accident? Oh, you have to come here and bring a family member. Said, for what?
Yeah.
Where am I going to go there? So I didn't know what to do. So I told Hayla, they asked me to do this. So I went to Carlos's house because he used to treat people with teas and diets and everything. And said, so Carlos always had an accident. We have to go to the city to see him. I thought he was in a hospital. So they should have told me, right?
Yeah, of course.
So he made a tea and he put it in a bowl. He was sitting beside me, and was me, him, and Hobson, Roger, and his dad.
Yeah.
So I drove up like a maniac to the city and was there like in half the time that you take to go to get to. And then there was that tragedy. He died.
Yeah. What sort of effect?
The end of it was awful.
The entire family, the entire sport must have been at the time. He was such a big name, right?
He was such a big name, such a wonderful person. That you couldn't find somebody to say that about him. He was a really, really nice guy.
Yeah.
He was polite. He was a hell of a fighter, intelligent, brilliant person. Oh man, he was everything. We just rented a house to put the new academy. We were going to leave the building in Copacabana. Carlson was going to stay there on his own, and Halls was finally opening up his gym. Yeah, there's some pictures of me and him, black and white, that you see. We did a whole series of photos that the week before, to put all the photos in the pictures in the academy around it. With all the self-defense part, everything. I did the self-defense course. I was ready to go. we were just going to move in and start teaching.
Wow.
And man, that was like my life collapsed. I didn't know what to do. Yeah, I had 2 kids. I have to work somewhere else.
So, were you jiu-jitsu was your job at that time?
No, it was going to become.
That was the plan. Is when you moved. When
I was in university, and I had a job, and university.
And then when Holes was going to move, you were going to go full-time jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
So what did anything become of that gym, or did it all just
no? Gave the house back.
Without Holes.
No.
Head in it, it just wouldn't.
No, nothing happened.
Wow.
Nothing happened. And then Carlinhos kind of stepped up because he used to, he was a senior guy there who's already a black belt.
Carlinhos was under Holes?
No.
Well,
he used to work there. He used to teach there, but I think he got his.
He got his black belt from Edu.
From Edu, yeah. Because he started teaching back with Edu.
Yeah,
I think Edu called him there, and he used to work with Hickson at the time, and that was it. And then he came down, kind of maybe wanting to take over, whatever, but we were so devastated that most of the main guys didn't want to train anymore. We all kind of stepped back. Oh, what are we going to do? And Carlinhos had an eye. He wanted to move to Barra da Tijuca. That's when he created Gracie Barra da Tijuca. Yeah. Now it's Gracie Barra. No, a while back. Gracie Barra, it stayed.
Yeah.
It started back then, after Hall's died.
Wow.
Yeah, because, that was it. And then we scattered. Some went to Hickson, some went to Carlinhos, some stopped. A lot.
Really? They just couldn't carry on after?
No. I know a guy that's a photographer, one of Hall's best friends at the time. He never put a gi back.
Wow.
Some others that I know never put a gi back on.
Just shows the effect that the man has on people.
Yeah. We just carried on going because I couldn't live without jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
No way. And plus, to keep, it would be the only way to honor him
is to carry on
his legacy. Yeah. And here we are.
Yeah. Continuing to carry on. But they get your red and white belt.
Yeah. I'm going to wear his shirt on the day.
Awesome.
And keep that photo for the rest of my days.
Yeah. That's very cool. That's what he would have wanted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
He'd be very pleased.
Yeah.
I've been teaching like he would have taught till this day.
So the style of the way that you teach jiu-jitsu you feel like is authentically from Rolls Gracie. That you've tried to replicate
what he did to me. Because when I entered his gym, I was pretty reasonable, but very raw, and said, "I'm going to change your game," and he did. I became a pretty good fighter.
Yeah, but then even that was quite reasonably early. You were in your early 20s.
Yeah.
So you've been training for years since then.
Yeah, since I was a kid.
But even though since Holes passed away, but even then you've retained. Even though you've spent much more time doing jiu-jitsu now than you ever did when you were with Holes, you've still kept sort of his style of teaching and his style of and mentality of jiu-jitsu.
Yes. Yeah. It's something that,
it's imprinted on you.
Yeah, and it will last the rest of your life.
Yeah.
There's no way out of it.
Wow.
Obviously, some things change, but the format that I do is the same that he used to do.
Yeah.
Everything. Self-defense, everything. And I make a point in actually keeping that.
Yeah.
Like it or not, that's what I do.
Yeah. No, I don't think there's anyone who doesn't like it.
Well, I try hard.
Yeah.
I just try hard.
Awesome. So you kind of alluded to it there, talking about Holes, that he turned you into a pretty decent fighter.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard otherwise, that you weren't just a pretty decent fighter, that you were a very good fighter. Did you?
Don't know about that.
I was actually, I remember years ago, really long time ago, I was reading an article from Gracie Mag, and it was talking about each decade, it was talking about sort of the main fighters from that decade, and it was asking big named fighters who their big number one guy was from each generation, basically. And a lot of people said it was you.
I don't know about that.
I can't even remember who it was. That pissed. I should have done a bit more research and found out who it was. But I remember them saying it was you. And so many people they don't realize that you were. And I know you're. And part of it comes from the fact that you're, if anything, a little bit too humble. But yeah, people don't realize that you were a really, really top level competitor in your time. Is that correct? Just factually?
Yeah.
You won a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I even heard a story that one time, well, the story alludes to how feared you were, Mauricio. Would you care to say that was true? The story is that you put your name down on a list for a competition and every other person in the division took their name out of that list. Did that ever happen?
Maybe.
Did that really happen?
Well, there wasn't that many names anyway.
What, man? I don't even know how to really ask the question, but I want to know about your competition career. You know, you as a fighter, Mauricio as a fighter. What was that like? Sort of, what was your mentality? What were you? How active were you? What stuff did you win? When you're saying there's only a couple of tournaments a year.
Yeah.
There were a little bit more at that point?
Not that much. Some years you had 3, the other one you had 2. There weren't that many competition, really. Mostly in a real dodgy area of Rio in the middle of nowhere. But then as I got to purple belt, brown belt, then it started more like Zona Sul, where we are.
Yeah.
You know, I fought. There was this epic fight between me and Sergio Pena in the purple belt, which one of the guys that got the belt with me.
Yeah.
He was the guy to fight back then.
Yeah.
You know? He won. We fought in blue belt. He won. And then we fought in the purple belt, but now we were actually, you know, he was a big name in the sport. Big. King of Copacabana, still is. Yeah. Then we went up for this fight. The stadium stopped to watch. It was really, really cool. And his specialty was attack you from the close guard. He would sweep you, get you an armbar or a triangle. Really, really good at it. But then I'm a good guard passer, right?
Yeah. You were a top player?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he pulled guard.
You passed the guard?
And I passed. And, you know, on the corner of my eye, I used to see Halls stretching himself entirely. Look at me. Look at this. No way, man. I'm getting to your side. And I got there. It was Roger Gracie called me that night to congratulate me. It was a real nice fight.
Wow.
Very technical.
Did you finish him?
No.
I
won by points.
You won by points?
But everything that I entered, maybe 1, 2, or 3 losses, whatever, by points, but I won a lot.
You won everything?
Yeah.
Wow.
I got plenty of medals at home.
Wow. Do you still have them now?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I put them in like a frame. There's not that many, you know.
Yeah.
Some of them were this.
They were tiny.
They were tiny.
Yeah.
They were this size. There was one that I didn't even took it home. I won a glass of jam. They were the sponsor of the competition. You won the thing, and there you go, take it home. Oh man, you want to throw it in the guy's face.
I'm so jealous of people nowadays. Like all the medals in tournaments in the UK are really nice medals these days. You can't really. It's so competitive and naturally.
I find that really nice.
It is nice, but then I go and look at my medals. I got these little plastics things.
Yeah,
and then you were long before me. As well.
Man, they were awful.
Yeah,
awful.
I never got a pot of jam though.
Well, you know, it is what it is.
So
all we need, we have left our memories anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That's the most important thing.
That's the most important thing, right?
So what was your, I kind of want to get inside your head a little bit. What was your mentality going into these matches?
Oh, man. Mentality to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get nervous at all fighting?
Of course. Everybody gets nervous.
How do you deal with it?
Oh, the best way you can. You know, just try to think that, you know, your confidence in what you know, You can't invent anything when you go there to fight. So, try to do your best with the tools you have.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
You get nervous maybe at start in the beginning. Try not to, enter the guy's game and all that quickness. Try to settle things down a bit.
Play your own pace.
In the beginning, play your own pace and do your thing, man.
And did you know that people feared you? Did people fear you? You don't have to be humble. Try and be as unhumble as you can. So. You don't think they feared you?
No.
People pulling their names out of a division just so?
I don't know about that.
I don't know. I think that there's definitely a change in mentality if you know that you're the most intimidating person. And it doesn't need to be because you're...
I think that happened later on in the Masters division or something, seniors or something like that.
When did you stop competing?
Last one I did was in 98.
Okay.
There was this Pan American in Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was going to Japan. So I stopped in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Got my medal and went to Japan.
You won that?
No, nobody wanted to fight. I threw the medal in the bin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to fight you?
Nope. So I threw it away.
Yeah.
I'm not taking a medal home without fighting.
Default medals are bullshit, right?
Ridiculous. Bin it.
Bin it.
Bin it.
Yeah, I've been there. What were you talking about before? Okay, you competing and all that stuff. Your style, do you think do you see, and we're going to get onto obviously a lot more later on, we're going to talk about Roger a little bit more, but is his style anything like what your style was like? Do you see yourself in him? Yeah?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because you look like Roger.
No.
If you look at you back in the day.
He looks like me.
He looks like you. He looks
come
like
on,
you.
man.
He looks like you. He looks like That's my bad. He looks like you. Back in it's crazy. You see photos of you back in the day.
Yeah, very similar.
It looks like Roger. It looks like that is a picture of Roger, but it's a picture of you.
Yeah.
So do you
I'm a lot better looking than
obviously. But do you see a lot of your fighting in him?
Yeah, Carlson said that in one of these worlds, yeah. Don't you see it just like Mauricio?
Wow.
That was funny. He yelled at it.
So kind of getting back to the Gracie family a little bit. Obviously, your connection with the Gracie family is a lot deeper than simply being a black belt under, or training with them, because you actually literally became part of the Gracie family. You married into the Gracie family. When, at what age did you meet? Did you grow up around Hela Gracie?
No. I grew up in the States.
This was the daughter of Carlos.
Yeah, but the thing is that my link with Halls was very, very strong. And Hela was his sister, younger sister.
Yeah.
And she adored him like everybody in the family did.
Yeah.
And because he was the son of Carlos, raised by Elu, he used to bring the family together.
He was the glue.
Yeah.
Because
he used to call both of them Dad.
The family's getting big at this point.
It was starting to,
Not as big as it is now.
No.
But starting to get big.
No, but it was already big. Yeah. Carlos had 21 sons and daughters. Edu had 11.
Christ.
Yeah. Edu had 11.
So. That's a lot of first cousins.
Oh, man, no matter how much you want to put it, there's always a lot of people around.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
All with all ages, it's funny.
Yeah.
Really nice.
There was that little bit. I assume you watched Darren's film. Tradition. I had him on. We were talking to him on here.
Yeah,
and
I was with him most of all of those
when he was filming.
Yeah.
But there's
ask him who helped carry all this stuff for him, man.
But there's that bit in there where there's like a picture of the Gracie family in a line all dressed up. And it's just insane. It's insane.
That was the house in Teresópolis. Yeah. That house was so nice. It had 21 bedrooms.
Wow.
Yeah. Each 3 had his own bathroom. Each 3 has his own bathroom. It was funny. I lived in that house for a while.
Did you?
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. Like you were essentially adopted into the Gracie family.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was.
And this is from
nice.
As a child.
Not as a child.
No. But I'm saying, as a child, you grew up with this famous family. You wanted to do jiu-jitsu because you'd heard all of the legends about the Gracies, right?
Yeah, and being close friends with them was like
insane.
Insane.
Yeah.
in my mind, I said, "Oh man, it's like you go and live in Buckingham Palace or something like that." Obviously,
Well, it is. It's the,
for us
that house is the Buckingham Palace of jiu-jitsu.
Of jiu-jitsu, yeah, that was the Gracie Mansion.
Yeah,
man, that was.
So what was it? What was it like, sort of taking that next step? And obviously, it was probably a gradual thing as you got closer with Holes and the family. But
things didn't just happen. It's gradually growing. I started training. Then I got married, but I already knew Hela from the beach.
Yeah,
and then when Holes took me under his wing,
you got married to Hela before you were training with Holes.
No.
Okay, you were training with Holes already, of course. Yeah, so you already said that. Yeah.
I've been training him for some years.
But did you know Hela before?
Yeah, I've known her from outside. I didn't even know she was a Gracie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And my friendship with Holes was very, very strong.
So that you didn't get any
out a lot. Travel on the weekends and train at Eddie Gracie's house in Itaipava. He had a dojo there. So
you didn't have any of the stepbrothers giving you a word about.
No, I was friends with them already. Carlinhos, Crawley. Helen was just a kid.
Yeah.
Hanzo was just a kid. Carlinhos and Crawley we used to train at the academy every day.
Yeah. So you lived in the Gracie mansion.
Yep.
What was that like? That must have been insane.
And it was just an empty house back by when I moved there. Yeah. Carlos used to go there, but only on weekends. Hazen used to live on the far end of the house with his daughter Kendra, his wife, and his son Carlinhos came later, and that was it.
Yeah.
There was a dojo. We used to train.
There was a gym in the.
Yeah, we pretty much went. We only traveled on weekends to somewhere that there was a mat that we could train, or at least a canvas that we could put outside in the grass and roll around. We always wanted to do something, or run uphill, or climb rocks, or actively do some.
Well, it's a nice place, Brazil. It kind of makes you want to get outside and do stuff, right?
Oh yeah, outdoors.
It's like the opposite of the UK.
Well,
you want to find something comfortable inside.
Yeah, I tattooed a sun on my back because there was no sun here.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
So you always have the sun on your back.
Yep, it's always following me around.
That's I like that. I like that.
On my shoulder.
I'm still waiting for it to follow you from Brazil over to the UK. Got some other points on this. So, how long were you with Hela before she became pregnant with who would later become the greatest grappler of all time?
Vanessa came first.
Vanessa was first?
Yeah. Vanessa's older. Vanessa came in 79, Roger in 81.
And obviously you have so much respect for the Gracie family already. You've grown up with them. You've grown up knowing them as legends. Then you've got close with the family by doing jiu-jitsu, understanding it, getting your black belt from Holes. Then marrying into the family. When you had your first son, Roger, did you know that he had to follow that tradition?
Well, it's not something that you plan or that you know. It is what it is. I know that when he was born, he was a boy, and he would
be a fighter.
He would train. Oh yeah.
Well, obviously you knew that he would train, but I guess
you can't have that much expectations when you have a baby.
No, obviously, but at the same time,
you have dreams.
Yeah.
You have, I would like this, I would like that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
no one can expect someone to do what he's then gone on to do.
No.
But there's got to be this certain sense of, this is a boy in the Gracie family. This is a family where
he was huge. He was this big.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me.
Oh man, he was huge already. Very white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's got to be a bit of a weird feeling knowing that had you had a child with someone else, you know, being the same person, being a black belt under Rolls, being big into jiu-jitsu, being a big name in jiu-jitsu at the time, and you had a child that wasn't a Gracie, it would be a very different experience, right?
I don't think so.
You would
on my behalf.
No,
my thoughts would be the same.
Really, you just want him to train and see where it goes.
Oh yeah, the problem, not a problem in Roger's case.
Family.
It had let's put my expectations in 50%.
Yeah,
and you got the entire family behind them with the other 50.
Yeah.
So you go to a family birthday or something. So is he training? Or you got a cousin that'll come up to you. Are you training?
Yeah.
Let's train now.
Yeah. Really.
Yeah. There's no way out of it, man.
Because to my knowledge, it's rare to have a Gracie boy fighter whose mum is a Gracie and whose dad is also a high-level black belt. Obviously, most of them, it's the sons of it's the sons of the males of the Gracie family.
Yeah. There's one more. Master Cajon was married to Carla Gracie, Hans's sister.
Yeah.
His son is Naaman Gracie.
Yeah.
Naaman Gracie Stambovsky.
Yeah, so he's the only one who had that sort of similar
he's
lineage.
fighting. He's doing some MMA now in Bellator.
Yeah, I've been following it.
Yeah.
So, okay, so it's not coming from you. You just wanted to give him the opportunity and see where it goes.
Yeah.
But from the Gracie side, that was
you get your black belt, and then you see what you want to do with your life.
Yeah.
Or at least you end up. There's no way out. You end up training. It's not only the family; it's the friends and colleagues.
Well, there can't be
from school or whatever.
There can't be a life outside of jiu-jitsu.
So
for someone born into
so
that.
You're a Gracie. Do you train?
Yeah.
That's the first question they ask. Where do you train? How long have you been training? Whatever, And he used to complain a lot, Roger. About friends.
About being a Gracie?
No, about me making him go to the academy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I hate this. He complained a lot.
At what age was he complaining?
13, 12, 11, 12, 13.
That's the standard age that people don't want to do what their dad wants them to do anymore.
A bit of a rebel. And then we sent him to the south of Brazil to stay a summer with Helium.
Uh-huh.
And that was it. He came back.
And he was in love with it. Really?
Yeah.
So it was a good choice.
It was a good choice.
Very good choice.
Very
in
good
hindsight,
choice. Yeah. He was a bit, at the time he's been living with me for a while, I used to give him too much of a easy life. So he gained a little bit of weight. So he used to live on the farm. So they used to go to the academy or whatever, or to the shops. On the way back, stop at the door of the farm. Roger, get out. You have to run to the house.
Really?
But he came back different, man.
So you sent him there as a little bit chubby, and you sent him back and he's shredded.
Yeah. That was good.
And
it shaped him.
Yeah. So sort of how you're talking to not only you as, and this is kind of the one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you is the problem that you have, in my opinion, Mauricio, the problem that you have is that you're really, really humble, and you just so happen that your son is arguably the greatest grappler of all time. So when people talk, a lot of people know you as Roger's dad, which personally for me, I don't think that's fair. And I think if you weren't as, and but even before we started recording, you're saying you don't really like to talk too much. You're saying at the beginning that you don't think anyone even wants to listen to you, which is just ridiculous and completely insane. But you, I believe, stand alone, regardless of what Roger's been able to do. You are a name irrespective of that. But because you're humble and you don't like to put yourself out there that much, a lot of people don't know that you as a fighter, which is why I think it's important to talk to you not just as Roger Gracie's dad, but...
That was too long ago.
Well, it doesn't matter. What Hickson did was too long ago. What Carlos did was long ago. What Elia did was long ago. It doesn't make a difference, really, does it? It's just that those people were a little bit more open to exposing themselves to the publicity, whereas it seems like you've always shied a little bit away from that. You're not interested in the publicity, are you?
No.
Yeah. So if if someone doesn't publicize themselves, they end up
not being as known as much as I believe you should be, which is kind of what I'm trying to do with this interview, so people understand. But you can't escape the fact that you're also the dad of arguably the greatest grappler of all time. So it's really interesting to talk to you and go like, and I'm sure I don't have kids, but anyone with kids who want them to grow up to be a half decent grappler, they're probably thinking, well, what did the dad of Roger Gracie do when he was growing up to push him into that direction?
Well, not much.
That's not the answer that they're hoping for, Mauricio.
Well, let's put it this way. I bothered Roger so much.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Poor kid. Today he says it when he beats me up. He said it's payback for those days. Somebody was telling me yesterday that I used to be really, really hard on Roger, but I don't really remember that much.
Yeah.
But maybe I was. But I'm not saying that shaped him, but made him tough in certain ways. I think so, yeah. But what I know that I made him do that got him so much better at that time was work with me. Teach with me. He was just a blue belt, 16, 17 years old. He could come here for like 3 months, 6 months. Every time he went back to Brazil, everybody would complain or said, man, what's going on with you?
By here, do you mean the UK?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he used to come, you used to get him sent over to the UK to
help me out.
To help you out? With
I was alone. I had no help at all.
Yeah.
At all. So.
And in those times that he came over, he would go back and he would be better?
He would be a zillion times better.
What were you doing with him?
Beating him up. and put him to actually train. You know?
Do you think it was just a focus?
And teach.
Yeah.
The best way for you to learn
is to teach.
Yeah. When you start teaching, you have to understand what you're doing.
100%. Yeah, I agree with
right?
you. Yeah, I've said that lots of times.
When that mentality sinks inside of you, said you see a position and you see the guy doing it, said, oh, that was wrong.
Yeah.
That thing over there is missing.
Yeah.
Right? And then you go and you correct them.
Yeah.
And inside you,
your brain's working the whole time.
Your brain is working the whole time, and you get that thing better. If you get that thing better because you understood what it's supposed to do. Right?
Yeah. 100%.
And that, you do that one day, the next day, the next day, the next day, the next day, over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So then you start looking at that situation, well, I'm going to do it now without any mistake.
Yeah.
Right? And if you do it without any mistake, you start, okay, all that. Now it's working. Now it's cool.
Yeah.
Right? And I think the best way for you to actually learn is to teach.
Yeah.
And I know that happened to Roger. Because every time he went back to Brazil, everybody, Gracie Barra, was like, man, what's happening?
Yeah.
What's happening? You can't understand, in a short period of time, you've grown your game so much. It was that teaching and
training with you.
Training, on with me on a personal situation every single day, day in, day out. You get grumpy sometimes and it's not like that, do it like this, whatever. It's normal. It's work like any other, right?
Yeah.
There are good days, there are bad days. Yeah. Some days you had a good night's sleep, some you didn't. You're busy with this, you're busy with that. Life is full of tricks. You sometimes have problems, and it's normal. Yeah. It's just life, But I know that might not have made Roger who he was, but helped shape him a lot in who he would become.
Well, I think that everyone is a product of everything that they've experienced, right?
The environment. Yeah, exactly.
So, you know,
That's,
whether
you
you
know,
think that he would have been any less of a grappler had you not done that, it doesn't, you know, whatever you did
doesn't matter.
created the Roger
That's what
today.
happened. You know,
Exactly.
I can only tell you the things that added up to make Roger, you know, and then came the trainings with Henzo, with Hidyon, you know, at the Gracie Baja, you know, that environment that they had for years and years, that 50 black belts on the mat every single morning. Those trainings, those lunchtime training, they were awesome.
Really?
Oh, man. They were really nice.
Yeah.
Really nice. So much good quality fighters. That's what made, you know, that
The big difference.
big difference, big name. Really nice.
So, you know, the Gracie family had the expectations of what Roger would become, being a Gracie, but also being a Gomez as well, and obviously being a big kid. They're like, oh, that looks like a good start.
Yeah.
But for you, you know, you're saying that you didn't really have, you didn't categorically want him, you know, have this great desire for him to be this incredible fighter. Obviously,
Well, you obviously
want it, but you're not.
You have the desire, but you know, from having the desire and actually, you know, the happening, it's two different things completely.
But then there must have been some point where you thought, this guy's special.
Oh, he told his mom, "I'm going to be the best fighter in the world."
What age?
I don't know, maybe 17, 18, something like that. It was after one of those competitions. He was a blue belt, I think.
Yeah. He said,
He turned to his mom when he got home. He said, "I'm going to be the best fighter in the world."
And what had changed in him, you know, from 3-4 years earlier where he wasn't that interested in the martial arts? What changed that make him come home and say that he's going to be the best?
I think it was that loss in the blue belt.
This is the famous last time that Roger was submitted.
Yeah.
He was footlocked at blue belt.
Yeah,
which
figure
is
four footlock on the foot.
Toe hold
Yeah.
at blue belt.
Yeah.
He's in a blue belt division.
Yeah.
But they just had the footlocks there in that time? They were legal?
Of course they were. I don't know why they're not.
Don't say of course they were. They're not legal now. Okay, when did those, like, taking a quick break from talking about Roger, when did
it's full of rules now,
when did those rules change?
I have no idea. I don't
Really?
pay attention to these things.
What else was legal back in the day?
Everything.
Heel hooks?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
In the gi?
Sure.
Neck
Tap.
cranks?
Tap.
Really?
Yeah. It's hurting. Tap.
So
You're sore? Tap. Not satisfied? Tap. Start again.
So there were no rules in
Yeah, there were plenty of rules.
but in terms of the submissions that you could do. You could do all submissions.
Yeah, pretty much.
So obviously nowadays it's really limited. A blue belt you can't do.
Yeah, it's silly now, isn't it?
Really?
Yeah.
You think so?
A lot of them, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So what do you think of sort of non-IB? So obviously these are all IBJJF implemented rules.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think of the tournaments that are doing sub only with all rules, ADCC and EBI and Polaris and stuff like that? Do you think that's the right direction for jiu-jitsu to be going in?
I think that the rules, some of them became necessary, you know.
Like what?
And I don't know. Over the years, they started to put, you know, you can't do this, you can't do that. I can understand the heel hook thing.
Yeah,
a lot of
especially
knees,
in the gi when you can't
a lot
move.
of the knees were getting blown up,
Yeah.
you know, because nobody wants to tap, you know. That's what it is. So you want to resist a little bit more, and then you have your knee blown to pieces, and you know that's not a very good. It doesn't do well for the sport, you know. Said, oh man, yeah, and then it starts popping up. Oh, look at that happen with jiu-jitsu. Look at that happen. It's not really good. You don't want that.
No.
And you want to preserve your student. You
Yeah.
know, you don't want your student to get blown to pieces because he goes away. You know, that's one less guy paying your gym.
Yeah.
In the end of the day, it's all like that, right? So you want a decent, nice environment for everybody to come train. And things over the years, you know, that mentality of very rough and tough gym is kind of not fading away, but, you know, you want a gym full of people of all sorts.
Sure.
Right? You want,
More inclusive.
you have guys, everybody wants to train, they want to spar, but you have guys that the next day they so many different persons showed up at the gym. You got taxi drivers, the electricians, politicians, or all sorts, lawyers, businessmen, CEOs, whatever, it's all sorts. The guy, the next day he has to go to work with his face all scratched up or with the eye like that. You can't have that. He has an important meeting with somebody else, So you kind of, okay, let's step back a little bit and have a look at all of this, like a healthy environment that everybody can train. You have obviously the competition side of it that's a little bit more intense with a lot of physical, looking at that kind of speciality. You have to, they have to do more workout and stuff.
Yeah, so like back in the day, what sort of conditioning and strength work were you doing for the competition team back in the Gracie academies?
Oh, we used to run, used to walk on the beach on the sand, kilometers.
Yeah.
And train, man.
And there was no like weightlifting or anything like that?
No, not
There's still
really.
a lot of people these days who don't
Not
do any
really.
sort of strength and conditioning stuff.
No.
But then like I know that Roger's done weights and stuff.
Man, he did for a while, but
He never got big into it.
no, it doesn't really. You can if you don't do something very very. You have to really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you
need a good coach and you fuck yourself
can
up.
get
Yeah.
seriously injured.
Yeah.
With that. And because we've been doing jiu-jitsu for so long, our body is used to it.
Yeah.
You're used to rolling around and being in awkward positions like that.
Yeah.
And when you're weightlifting, you can do with a little bit of weights, to help strengthen your joints. But overdoing it, I think it's a downside for the jiu-jitsu itself.
Yeah, it makes sense. Going back to Roger, I have some questions for Roger. So you're talking about when you realised that Roger was special. There's this moment where he tells his mum he's going to be the greatest fighter ever.
Yeah, but even then,
But even
you
then,
don't, you don't
it's
think,
just a kid saying stuff,
yeah,
right?
it said, well done, nice going.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go next.
It's like when your kid says he wants to be an astronaut, right?
Yeah.
You tap him on the head. But when did
Yeah.
you actually think, when did you think that he's different? Because he is. Or was it never a kind of, obviously it's a gradual thing because you just see him getting better and winning stuff all the time. But there's got to be a moment where you go, he's not normal. Because he's not.
Well, I kind of saw it already when he was a blue belt. You know what blue belts are like. You got to do 15 fights in a day.
Yeah. Yeah. Massive divisions, yeah.
Oh, man.
But he stuck out. What stuck out? Like, do you remember one moment?
No.
No.
Overall,
yeah.
Yeah. Said, man, that was a nice day.
Yeah.
Roger did really well. Submitted everybody. Said, man, if he's doing well like that as a blue belt, there's something good about him. You have a nice feeling. And then, okay, let's see if it goes on.
Yeah.
And it does. And then come the next year.
And it kept going on?
It kept going on. And the next, yeah. And then purple belt. And then brown belt. I remember the absolute brown. He had that fight with Jacare. It was the best fight of the whole competition. It was wonderful. What a nice, beautiful fight. Jacare was supposed to receive his black belt in that thing. They postponed it for 1 year because he lost.
Really?
Yeah. They became really good friends now.
Yeah, Jacko and Roger?
Yeah.
Good friends?
Yeah.
Really?
Coincidentally, that's funny. All of Roger's fights in Strikeforce,
Yeah.
him and Jacare shared the same dressing room.
Really?
All of them. All of them.
Yeah, you're good. Don't worry about it. That's pretty cool. That's good to see. Because man, that fight's still one of the biggest fights of all time, right?
Which one?
The one that he armbarred him.
Black belt already, 2004.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, you were there.
Yeah.
That was the first time he made it to the absolute final in the black belt division.
No, he made it the year before with Pejpan and he lost.
With Peter Pano, yeah.
Yeah.
But
That
he
was
made
his
it.
first one.
Yeah, he made it there with Roger.
2003.
2003.
Yeah.
So he made it there with Jacare. What was going through your head during that fight?
Oh, man. He did really well. And in the end, I didn't actually see the exact moment.
When the arm went?
Yeah, because everybody in front of me was going nuts.
Yeah.
And then I saw Jacare running around with that loose arm. And you couldn't understand why the ref wouldn't call in the doctors that were right outside waiting for, to be called in.
Yeah.
Because it's an amateur sport, you would think, okay, he's going to call the doctor. The doctor is going to say if he can fight or not, and not leave it. I know that Jacare is a tough guy, and he would not give up or anything like that. Obviously not.
Yeah.
Nobody would, I think. But
well, I don't know. There's not giving up, and there's having your arms shattered, and then just tucking it into your belt and continuing the match.
Yeah. That's fair enough, but what are you going to do? I was yelling to Roger, pull the bad arm, but Roger, very too polite. And
is that what you were saying to him?
Yep.
You got to do what you got to do, right?
Yep. And then for 1 minute and 50 seconds, he
ran away
off
the mat. The mat.
Yeah, and the ref was from his same hometown.
Oh, yeah.
So, gave one penalty. He should have gone 2 and disqualified the guy.
Yeah.
To avoid all of that, it would be a lot easier if he did what he had to do.
Yeah.
He never refereed again after that.
Really?
Never.
That was it?
That was it.
Wow.
And the following year, that the guy made a mistake again, another guy, he never ref another fight as well.
Really?
Yeah. He came in.
So Roger's the ref destroyer.
Oh, the guy,
after they screw him over, they
some weeks later, the guy said, "Oh, I'm really sorry about that." I said,
Really?
"Man, what are you saying sorry for? That is gone." The guy, the fight is finished. The guy lift the hand up. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. That's it, my friend. Go home and cry in bed because it's won.
Yeah. Yeah, once it's done,
it's done.
Your apologies mean nothing, don't they?
Nothing, absolutely nothing.
Did you ever, because, and sort of my favourite aspect of that tradition film is it follows this story. It doesn't really follow, it's not a story of Roger's career. It's a story of someone trying to get this big title, that weight and absolute title, and being thwarted over and over again.
2003, 2004, 2005, 2006.
And then
he
finally
only
getting
won
it in
2007. And then 2009 and 2010.
Yeah. So that was the storyline of the film, was that, kind of getting so close every time, smashing his division every time, and then always getting to the final, and then losing because he broke someone's arm and they didn't tap, or losing because of 2 points that shouldn't have been 2, or he took someone
were non-existent. He took Jacare down, and the ref gave. I remember as this day, Damien Meyer was right beside me, and Roger didn't fall; he was on his knees.
Yeah.
And Damien called the ref and said, "Where's the 2 points? Where's the 2 points?" And the ref looked at him and said, 2 points.
Really?
Oh man, there was no points at all.
It was Damien Meyer's fault.
Yeah.
Was there ever a point during his career that you thought there's like a curse? It's gonna keep on happening. He's never gonna get that double.
No, you can't think like that. You got to think positive, man. Next year will be fine.
Yeah.
You saw Roger's comments on the film.
Yeah.
It was always very positive. He was always very positive about everything. That's what amazes me,
But you were as well?
I was. As a father, you just start to get really, really
pissed
angry.
off.
Yeah. You get angry at the refs.
Yeah.
Man.
It must have been so frustrating for you to watch
because,
sort of on the precipice there.
When a guy loses a fight, you lose a fight, to somebody that's better than you.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go home, do my work, do my homework, and, come back better or whatever. But, to lose because the guy made a mistake in such a high-level competition in so much at stake.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. What do you like?
Yeah. It's really unsatisfying, isn't it? It's frustrating.
It's frustrating,
Yeah.
And then, got to wait another year. A lot of things happen. But then 2005, Roger did that Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
And won like nobody else is going to do what he did. Ever.
Eight wins,
so.
8 submissions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, it was unbelievable. What a weekend.
For me personally, and it's an interesting topic that a lot of people would disagree on, but for me personally, the ADCC weight in absolute is a more significant victory than a Mundial's weight in absolute.
Well, it's a different modality, right?
Because it is, yeah. It's gi and no gi, obviously.
Yeah.
And really, if you to be the greatest grappler, full stop, you need to win both, right?
Yeah.
But it is obviously it's every 2 years instead of every year, and the level of competition in the ADCCs are unmatched in my opinion in the Mundials. You won't they're stacked. They're always stacked. It's always the best grapplers in every division. Did you feel that was sort of almost recompense for not winning that weight in absolute at the Mundials? That finally he got it. He got something really significant.
Yeah. And that was after he broke Chacaré's arm.
Mm.
So they fought. I said, well,
and he got the RNC in the final of the weight absolute, right?
Yeah, that was amazing. That in Portuguese we said, "Lavou minha alma," washed my soul. It was really nice.
Justice.
Well, I'm not even talking about justice between him and Jacaré, because in the end of the day, it's not Jacaré's fault.
Of course not. No.
He's an amazing guy and fighter and tough and whatever. It's not his fault.
Yeah.
It's you play by the rules, and if somebody made a mistake, it was the rule maker or the guy that was in the middle of the mat that day.
Yeah.
Not his. What? Yeah. Absolutely not. But it was how he won that championship that was, man, submission after submission after submission.
Yeah.
And he was so ready for that.
Yeah.
Because in 2003, he won Zé Sperry, and then he fought that John Olav.
Yeah.
That got in a body triangle, and he couldn't get out.
Yeah.
So he lost by points. And he had this fight with his cousin, Higa Machado. He wanted to go easy on Higa, not to expose Higa, in front of everybody. And the organizer said, "You can't go easy here.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You're out." So
really?
They checked him out.
Of the absolute?
Yeah, he couldn't do the absolute in 2003.
Really?
They wouldn't let him. Yeah. And for 2005, he said, because you can be invited and do the competition without doing
the qualifiers.
The qualifiers.
Yeah.
And they told him, no.
You have to do the qualifiers.
Because of that fight with your cousin, you either go to São Paulo and do the qualifiers there, already living here, do the qualifiers there, or you're out of this competition. So he said, "Oh, really? Okay. I'll go to Brazil. I'll do the qualifiers." He fought 3 guys there, submitted all 3.
I didn't know that he qualified for 2005.
Yeah, so it's not only the 8 wins of the actual competition. There's the 3 in the qualifiers that he submitted all 3 of them in São Paulo.
So they were pissed with him. They must have been.
When he won those,
they must have been really pissed off when he won the weight in absolute.
Oh man, they had to swallow that,
right? Suddenly they were his best friend again.
Yeah. Oh, I like that kid. Such a nice kid.
Good guy. So, kind of going back to you and Roger, and sort of you. There was never one moment that you realised that he was. That he was so special, and it was kind of this gradual thing. He just kept on doing well.
You kind of know.
Yeah, you kinda
but
get a
you don't
feeling,
want to.
yeah.
You don't want to. You're not going to act on it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just one of those things.
But one interesting moment that there must have been was when it went from you whooping him to him getting you.
Oh, that was awful. Not very nice, man.
Talk to me about that.
No, he was already blue belt that could still survive.
But he was beating you a blue belt.
No, purple belt.
Purple.
After a while, purple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that day like? Did he was
it.
So obviously the way that it would go is you're submitting him, then you're only positionally dominating him, then he's positionally dominating you, then he submits you, right? There must be a day, because the only part that you can really like pinpoint it, there is a day when you get submitted for the first time by Roger.
No way.
No?
Give him a big bite on his arm or his leg and tell him to let me go.
Has he never submitted you then?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has?
Yeah. A lot of times. It's ridiculous. He's mean.
There's got to be... it's such an interesting thing, because the same thing for instructors, right? The first time they get submitted by one of their students.
Yeah.
There's like a combination. You're really, really proud because you've created someone so good. They've surpassed you in a way. But at the same time, really, really pissed off. Right?
Well, I never got pissed off with him, no.
Not even a little bit?
No, not pissed off.
You weren't
pissed off?
Not pissed off.
It's not the word.
You were upset or angry with yourself? A little bit?
Maybe frustrated?
Frustrated, okay.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Frustrated is good. A little bit anger. A little bit.
Yeah, it's got to be. But yeah, it's the same thing with your students. But obviously, this is a student that you've had since they were born.
Yeah.
Were you always part of his growth in his coaching? You always played a big role with that. Was there ever a time where you stepped back from being? Would you consider Roger? Would you consider yourself one of Roger's coaches?
I consider myself his father, and I helped him.
And you just helped him
as much as I could.
Yeah.
And after a certain age or a certain level of where he got, then come other persons come in his life, in his training.
Yeah, and you passed the baton.
He went to New York in 2003 to train for the no-gi with Henzo. That's when, their relationship got really, really big. Yeah. Bigger than it always been. He used to train with Henzo in Rio. Yeah. When Henzo's first academy there. And Roger used to cycle it. He fell in the Lagoa once. Oh, man, how can you fall in the lagoon?
What's that?
He was cycling to Henzo Academy, and I get a phone call, and said, what happened? Well, his gi got trapped in the
bicycle spokes.
Bicycle, yeah. It, poof, inside the lagoon. That was it. And he, and you're just thankful for all of these guys come into Roger's life. Henzo opened so many doors for Roger in Roger's no-gi life and MMA life. Yeah. Along with Helium, they've been coaching with Roger in all of Roger's fights. Yeah. All of them. Really? The two of them were in Rio now. Really? You could see Helium jumping in the back. Yeah. And Henzo was filming. Really? Because he was streaming live.
Streaming it live. Everyone was saying, who's going to go up to Henzo Gracie and take his phone off of him?
No, Kira was right beside him. She was right beside Henzo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she knew it.
Yeah. Kira was running the event, right?
It was her event.
Her event? Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. She's not going to take her phone off her uncle?
No, of course not. No way. In the end of the day, at that point in time, everybody that had to buy the
had already
bought anyway.
Course, yeah. Man, okay. Talking about that fight. So, do you consider Roger to be the greatest?
Yes.
Did you consider Roger to be the greatest before he fought Buchecha?
Yes.
Did you think it was even
Long
close?
time ago. Long time ago.
Yeah.
Roger's jiu-jitsu is, you can't compare it to anybody or anything.
Well,
I've seen so many.
we
so
know now.
many
That yeah.
come out of the mat of the competition,
Yeah.
looking at his coach and said,
Yeah.
"What happened? What's this?"
Yeah.
Some tough guys that you think, man, it's going to be a tough fight, and it wasn't.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Buchecha, a couple of things with him. One, he beat Roger's record. 4 wins, weight in absolute.
It doesn't really matter now, does it?
Nothing matters now. But we're talking. This is the thing. It really doesn't matter now, and we'll get onto that. It really doesn't matter. But beforehand, this is how This is why this fight was the most, in my opinion, the most significant jiu-jitsu match since the Gracies were fighting before you were born. I really think it was, of modern jiu-jitsu, it's by far the most significant match. But you can make the argument because he's beaten the record, because of that match that they had at Metamoris, where I know that Roger was ill. He had staph.
He was taking antibiotics for 20 days.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make any
No.
excuses.
But that's pretty well known.
Yeah.
He never said that. He never used that as an excuse. But it's pretty well known. So... But
he had that thing across his throat for years and years and years. So that's why he put his name down to fight this 8-man tournament at the Worlds in Vegas this month.
Yeah.
And then his cousin called and said, listen, because she's working in a major TV in Rio now, Edu Global.
This is Kira?
Kira,
yeah.
Yeah. So she said, listen, do you want to fight Buchecha? I said, well, and yeah, sure. She came up with money, whatever, and nice sponsors. Said, listen, it's going to be a one-off match. Can do it in like 15 minutes. IBJJF rules for the whole world to see. And in the end of the day, you think, okay, the guy's been quiet for quite a while, not competing for
Roger.
like 7 years.
Yeah.
And puts his name out like that. First for the 8-man tournament, because he wanted to fight Buchecha.
Yes.
His idea was fight André Galvão first, Leandro Ló, and then go to the finals with Buchecha.
Yeah.
So he already had that in his mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kira said, okay, you want to fight Buchecha now? Said, well, sure, why not? So he got ready and went and won a fight in less than 7 minutes.
Well, we're going to talk... Well, it was ridiculous, but we're going to get onto that. What did you think of Roger taking this fight? Did you think it was a good idea?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, nothing to lose.
Well, he did.
No. Who's the champion now?
Buchecha is.
Yeah, so.
Roger definitely had less to lose than Buchecha.
Yeah.
But not nothing, because this is a guy who's never been beaten properly.
Então, that's the whole merit of Roger.
Yeah.
Putting his name down. Okay, put my name down. I want to fight. A guy coming out of the blue, putting, to a situation that anything could happen.
Exactly.
Anything could happen.
But the
definitely expectations were all on Buchecha's side.
Exactly.
Buchecha is the champion.
Exactly.
He's 10 years younger.
Yeah.
20 kilos heavier, and he's the man.
Yeah.
He's going to take Roger down and cream Roger up.
That's what I'm saying. Were you not worried that would happen? Because how old is Roger now? How old is Roger?
How old?
Yeah.
36.
He's Masters.
Well, he'll be 36 in September.
He's Masters too.
He's 35.
He's Masters too.
Yep. Tell him that.
Yeah, I won't be doing that. So we won't see Roger fight in the World Masters?
I doubt that, man. He doesn't even want to talk about that kind of thing.
But he's Masters too. There is a lot, even though the pressure is on Buchecha to win because he's the current champ, because he's younger, because he's heavier. But Roger's still putting it all on the line.
All on the line. Absolutely.
He's still got a lot to lose.
Yeah.
So you would know, had I been, I was nervous for Roger, even though I'm confident in Roger's ability. But you've got to go, damn. Whenever someone puts something on the line when the odds are stacked against them, which they were,
oh man,
you've got to be nervous.
Full confidence in Roger Jiu-Jitsu.
It's just purely that.
Yeah, full confidence, because what I see these days, what I've been, seeing watching all of these fights now, technically speaking,
they're
going downhill.
Really?
Oh man.
Really?
Yeah.
You think
in
that?
My opinion.
In what way?
My humble opinion.
In what way?
Oh man. First of all, there's a difference between a guy that goes to a competition that wants to win by points.
Oh, 100%.
And another one that goes to a competition and wants to submit the person, no matter what.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 100%.
So that's two different mindsets right there.
Totally, yeah.
So I think nowadays, without getting any merit against anybody, because I respect all of them, is a lot of this mindset of going into competitions and winning by points is dominating everything now. A lot. You have very few that actually, no matter what happens, I'm going to try to submit.
Yeah.
It doesn't really happen that much. So, in my opinion, that's not very good. Not even for the sport, not even for the person. But it is what it is. You accept the growth of the sport and, how people are winning these days. You can accept all of that because that's the only thing you can do. You can't change it,
Well, people are trying, aren't they, with these no points tournaments? These
but still, the major tournaments are all there. The IBJJF ones and all that. In Guide, I'm talking about, right? Those are the main ones.
Yeah.
If you want to, put your name down for history and win medals,
win the IBJJF or the ADCC.
But
even the ADCC has a different point system, but you can still win without going for subs. Look at, I believe that Claudio Calazans won the absolute division without scoring any points.
Yeah, so
yeah,
it is what it is. You just see these things happen and say, "Oh, that's really sad. That's really not what it's supposed to be."
Yeah,
and because of all of this mentality, the mentality in a lot of gyms now are changing. Jiu-jitsu always was a martial art focused on self-defense. And because of all of these tournaments, things changed a bit. The self-defense part has been neglected all the way.
Yeah.
And it's part of the syllabus. You have to learn, especially if you want to teach. If you're a competitor, that doesn't really matter. All you want to do is focus on your competition side. That's fair enough. But once again, if you come out of that and said, okay, I'm going to become a teacher, I'm going to open a gym, what are you going to teach? Competition jiu-jitsu? To a guy that works in a desk all day? What is he going to learn? Berimbolo? Come on. That's fair enough, but you don't teach that to a beginner.
Sure.
You have to make sure he has a solid foundation.
In the self-defense stuff?
In everything. In knowing the self-defense, know how to behave when he's taken down, know how to stand up, know how to pass a guard, what guard is, to defend, side control, mount, everything. You start from the beginning.
I agree that obviously the fundamentals, people coming in and training for 3 weeks and then watching Berimbolo videos on YouTube and trying to pull that technique off is ridiculous. You can't build a strong building on weak foundations. So it's so important to have that. But you understand that it's I'm not against it. No, I understand. I am for a beginner.
Yeah,
for a beginner.
Yeah. I'm not against the position later on.
Yeah.
Not that at all. Yeah. You have to have an open mind that everything that comes to the sport, like we had back then. Halls used to make us. I was Brazilian wrestling champion at some point.
Were you?
Yeah, and you know,
'Cause going back to Holmes, like Holmes was the first one to cross train, right?
yeah, he did.
So he was the first one to do other grappling arts outside.
Yeah, we didn't have that many competitions in jiu-jitsu,
Yeah,
right? So some years might have been, you know, it's a bit slow in competition wise this year.
yeah,
So let's compete. Let's do some Greco-Roman.
yeah.
Let's do some wrestling. My first wrestling match with this big guy, I pulled guard and I was disqualified. The guy, you can't pull guard. What do you mean you can't pull guard? That's what I do. So read the rules. Get out of here. So, you know, live and learn.
Yeah.
And it was, and we started working on these things. He put like a different mat in our gym. It was a proper wrestling mat.
The one with the ring in the middle.
Yeah. And you know, it's tiring to train there. You know, your feet go
Yeah.
right.
He's a thicker mat.
It's thicker mat. Yeah, it was a big change for us. But you know, he had this guy come over from America, Bob Anderson, huge guy, wrestler, and he was helping us train for that. And then Halls put a gi on him one morning. And the guy was, after that, he was like, how can a 72-kilo person do what he did to me? He was crying like a baby.
Bob Anderson is, if I'm correct, is the person who was the Americana was named after, right? Is that right?
So. I don't know. Don't really know.
Yeah.
Was it?
I don't know. I think so. It rings a bell. I know it was something to do with it. It was named after an American, a wrestler, I think, or a catch someone who had
I
some
don't
catch.
think it was him. Maybe some other, because we were already training.
Yeah.
And I was, you know, Americana had been there for ages.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it might have been earlier on.
Yeah, probably was. Like Kimura came from when Eddie was fighting Kimura.
Fighting Kimura,
right?
yeah. That's how he beat him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he Kimura'd him.
Yeah. The next day, he already had a solution for that problem.
Really?
Yeah.
So yeah, God, how do we get onto that? What were you talking about?
I have no idea. You're the boss here, man.
But yeah, going back to sort of to Roger's match with Buchecha, obviously, that was the most shocking thing that's ever happened in jiu-jitsu, right?
Well,
not for you, because
No,
you knew that he was going to beat him, but it wasn't that he beat him.
you don't know that he's going to beat him, but you have
You couldn't have believed that he was,
total confidence in the guys.
but in the way that he
Jiu-jitsu.
beat him.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that would be that easy.
That's what I'm saying. The shock
Yeah.
wasn't. If I woke up the next day, I didn't watch the match, and someone had said Roger won. Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, that sounds about right. If I woke up the next day and someone had said Roger tapped him out, and I've got nothing against Buchecha, so I'm not insulting him in any way when I say this.
No.
He was a 4-stripe white belt.
Yeah.
And because straight up, I think Roger is probably the second best of all time. But he hit the ground and he looked like he was out of his depth. And that was the crazy thing. I think they were on the ground for a minute. From the time it hit the mat to the time he got the sub.
From the point that Roger held him by the belt.
Yeah.
Put his foot on the hip.
Yeah.
And slammed him face down on the mat.
Yeah.
But you could, if you look at his face,
Yeah.
every time, because that single leg,
Yeah.
he takes everybody down.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Okay. This is interesting because I have a theory on this as well. You're gone.
So every time that he was walking back, his face was,
Yeah.
man, he said, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
You know, why can't I take this guy down?
Yeah.
And Roger was posturing up, hand on the neck, and pulling him by the belt.
Yeah.
So it was unstable
Yeah.
him completely. You know when you do that, you lose potency on your legs.
Yeah.
Right? So, over and over and over again, and then positioning. Roger positioned himself as a wrestler
Yeah.
with judo grips. No grips. Same stance like he liked to do,
Yeah.
and just defending it.
Because what it looked like to me, it looked like that Buchecha tried to take him down, like you said. He got that single leg position that he gets on everyone, and Roger stuffed it twice. And then Buchecha was just like, I don't understand what's happening.
Yeah.
It looked to me that he just kind of got awestruck by Roger's ability, by how he felt.
Yeah.
And I've rolled with Roger before, and kind of the thing, I don't know if your experience with him is the same, but I've rolled with a lot of very, very good guys who have beaten the crap out of me, you know. But they always beat the crap out of me by just being, I feel, way, way better than I am.
Mm.
Roger feels different to all these people when I roll with him. Roger would I roll with Braulio and he'll stop me doing what I want to do. Mm. I roll with Rodolfo and he stopped me doing what I wanted to do. Roger let me do what I wanted to do, but it just didn't work the same way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and I, you know, the last time I rolled with Roger, I rolled with it. I've been training for a long time. I've been competing for a long time, and I felt very confident in my ability that if I got to a certain position, I'm used to how the person moves when I do that movement, you know? Mm-hmm. It's like you're used to doing, when you shake someone's hand, you know what that hand feels like every time you shake it. Yeah. So if you shake someone's hand and if you tuck your thumb on the inside and shake someone's hand, it feels weird.
Yeah.
Because you're used to shaking someone's hand the same way over and over again. And that's what it felt like. I get to a position, with Braulio, I never get there. But Roger, I get there, and then I try to do it, and he's a mount. and it kind of, it does, you know, with someone like Braulio, you're like, oh, can't do it. Braulio's too good. With Roger, it's another level where I don't actually understand how that happened. So I can only imagine when Buchecha, who much better than I am, will get in these positions that he's used to just getting on everyone, and then it didn't work in that way that Roger stopped something from working. I literally know how Buchecha felt, if that is how he felt, because I felt that way as well. And it's really, no one I've ever rolled with, even though I've been beaten up by plenty of people, no one I've ever rolled with has ever felt like that, where you get to your position, you do the exact thing that works on everyone, and it just doesn't work the same way. And I think that he did that, and after that he just, you know, what do you do? If you can't do that on someone, what do you do? Yeah. And he just got, for me, the way that he was moving once the fight hit the ground, something was wrong with Buchecha. You know, it was.
Well,
like, as in something was wrong. He'd lost it already.
He lost it.
By the time he hit the floor, it was already gone. In my
Roger
opinion.
was getting his back. You know, hands were creeping in the neck, and he
wasn't defended.
He was worried about removing the hooks.
Yeah.
You know, you don't go for the hooks before you go for the hands that are creeping around your neck first.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So
maybe you got.
Yeah.
Who knows? They're not used to being under pressure sometimes, you know. And when you are, you forget what you have to do.
Yeah. But for me, the biggest shock and the most significant fight, you know, that Roger's retired now from jiu-jitsu.
I think from both.
You think he's not going to fight MMA again?
Maybe not. I asked him this week, and he said, no, I don't think so. He's done enough.
Yeah, he has.
He's done enough.
He has.
That was a beautiful victory. You know, cemented his name in the history of jiu-jitsu
forever.
Forever.
Is there anything that any human being could do to surpass what Roger's done?
No. You know, to win the way, you know, the last time that they put some statistics out,
yeah,
Roger was the guy that in all of these worlds had the most high level of submissions in all of them. The second guy would come with only 50% that Roger did. It was Shenji Hibir.
Yeah.
50%, a half. And even Buchecha, I'm not trying to take anything out of him. How many? He wins a lot by points, by an advantage, by this or that. We're talking submissions here.
Yeah.
End of game.
Mm. Yeah, kind of that has been the thing that's defined Roger's career, is that it isn't just about winning, it's how you win.
How you win.
I believe it was the first year that he won weight in absolute, where he submitted every single person with a cross choke. Same submission.
That was in 2009. Yeah.
2009.
Yeah.
Second time.
They call him the blanket.
Yeah. I was there as well.
Yeah.
It was
unbelievable.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah, that was nice. Speaking of Steve mentioned something. I put some questions out. Finnan.
Oh, man.
He mentioned lots of things. I won't get into too many of them.
Yeah.
But one of the things he was saying is with Roger's career, which is the last thing I'll talk about Roger. We'll move on from that. About you intervening in secret, helping Roger in kind of steering him in directions from afar. So, for example, you arranged training for the fight with Buchecha, right?
At the Shan 5.
Yeah. Why did you do that?
Thought it was the right thing to do.
Yeah. And how long did he train with Roger for? Or Roger went over there?
He came here twice.
He came to the UK?
Yeah.
So you brought him over to...
Well, I didn't bring him over.
Yeah.
But he got here.
Okay. That's interesting. And are there any other times that you've done similar?
Maybe.
Somehow people have got over to places?
Maybe.
Let's get back to you anyway, Mauricio. I want to talk you going to Japan.
Yeah.
So let's go back, and Carlinhos tells you that he needs you to go to Japan.
Yeah.
What year was that?
97.
Okay. And had you ever been to Japan before?
Nope.
So that was real, and
I had no idea where I was going.
Really?
Yep.
Why Japan?
Don't know.
That's just what he said?
Yep. I need somebody with good English that knows how to teach. And I was chosen, and I went.
How was it?
Not that many wanted to leave the comfort of Rio to go somewhere and start something new out of the blue.
Yeah.
It's not that, we talked about this before, and it's not that simple, and it's not easy at all.
Yeah.
At all. It's hard, man.
Yeah.
But in 2 months, I had 280 students.
Get out.
Yeah.
What?
Trying to kill each other every day.
In 2 months,
Yeah.
you had 280 students.
Yeah.
How's that even possible?
A lot of people, right?
Yeah. But, gyms work for 10 years and get half of that.
Oh, yeah. But things at that time were popular in Japan. I was there doing Prides 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pride was just starting. I saw all of it. Henzo came over, trained with me. We went together to Pride 1, Pride 2, Pride 3, Pride 4. Beginning of it all, Saitama Arena. Huge, massive. People falling off the shelves.
You were at Pride 1?
Yep.
With Henzo?
Mm-hmm.
What was that like, man?
Well, he called me, and I was teaching, and the guy said, there's a guy on the phone who wants to talk to you. I said, man, I'm teaching. I'm not in.
Mm.
And the guy said, well, he's insisting. Who is it? It's Rolls Gracie. I said, what? How the hell did you find me here? So I answered the phone, and Henzo, with his usual shouting and yelling and whatever, said, I'm coming over. I said, what are you going to do in Japan? Well, they have this event, and I'm going to fight. I said, well, man, cool. So he came over. It was just him and a couple of guys, so we had to train. And we went together to the fight. It was nice.
Man, for those who don't know, Pride is legendary in martial arts history.
Yeah.
In mixed martial arts history.
The biggest event of all times.
The events, they used to put on 90,000 people in these stadiums. Mm-hmm. And still to this day, UFC does 15, 20, 25,000.
It was huge.
Doesn't even, just pales in comparison.
It was huge. Huge.
So you were in Henzo's corner.
Mm-hmm.
That first fight he had, who did he fight? It was a long fight, right? Or maybe it was Hoyler. I remember in one of the very early UFCs.
I was there when Hoyler fought too.
Hoyle had a very long fight.
Yeah.
Like 50
But-
minutes.
No, but he was a Japanese guy. I forget his name. It's a long time ago. I don't
Yeah.
really know. I don't remember.
What was it like being around those, you know?
Oh man,
That-
it was awesome because we had a guy that spoke Japanese and fluent in Portuguese. So
Oh, wow.
we put him because everybody else was speaking Japanese. So they got to listen to what he's saying and come and tell us, so we know what he's gonna do.
Yeah. Oh, what, during the fight?
Yeah.
And that's when Hickson fought.
I was there too.
How was that?
It was nice. Hickson called me. I went to his dressing room. We talked.
Before the fight?
Mhm.
What did he talk about? What does
Well,
Hickson
it was
Gracie
just
say?
stretching, and he has sips of honey before he goes in.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's-
Head shaved. That was funny.
Yeah.
I've never seen him with a head shaved like that.
Really?
Yeah. So, whoa.
Because just before that was the Valley Two, was the Valley Tudo Championships, the ones from Legacy. That was just before that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was like a super big name going in already.
In Japan? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was the reputation of the Gracies? Well, obviously it was big enough.
Oh, man. It's huge. Anywhere you go.
Yeah.
Gracie name is big. Big. Big time.
Yeah.
Immensely respected in
Yeah.
all senses, yeah.
So after you were there for the first couple of prides, and then that kind of gave you the popularity to take Gracie Jiu-Jitsu to Japan. And like you said, you kind of mentioned it earlier.
No,
which
I
is
was already there when Pride started.
Pride 1 started.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you had almost 300 students in 2 months before Pride.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
How long were you in Japan for?
9 months.
Is that it?
Yep.
So it was just to set up the gym,
Yep.
and then afterwards you just left it to someone else, or
Yeah, I came here.
straight? Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Came directly from Japan to this country.
really.
Birmingham.
So was that the plan, that Carlinhos was to send you there to set it up?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep. Get things started. That's what I do.
You get things started.
Yep.
So what is it about you that's so good at getting things started?
No idea.
Why did Carlinhos send you to get things started?
Maybe he didn't have anybody else.
Well, it seems like it was the right choice, regardless of the motivation behind it. So you're talking about you came to the UK and it was
I'm a
hard.
guy that, people trust. People, we've known each
Yeah.
other for
Sure.
ages, And
But-
you needed somebody to do a good job.
And you did do a good job.
I think so.
Well, man, the figures speak for themselves. You're getting 2 months, you're getting almost 300 people. That's
It's not because of me, because nobody knew who I was,
it was
It's
just it was because of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They, everybody wanted to do jiu-jitsu.
But what sort of stuff? I want to know, like, what sort of stuff do you do to promote a gym? This is the first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu academy. It wasn't called Brazilian Jiu, it was called Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, or?
In Japan?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was supposed to be a Gracie Baja gym, but he just used Gracie Japan.
Gracie Japan.
Yeah.
So you were the first person to do Gracie Jiu-Jitsu to bring Gracie Jiu-Jitsu to Japan.
Yeah.
So
First Brazilian.
first Brazilian.
Yeah.
So what sort of stuff were you doing to kind of promote it and push it there? Because you're saying this before. You didn't have to do anything?
Nope.
Really?
Nope. It was a Bad Boy sponsored gym, so it may be Bad Boy did a couple of
Promos or
interviews
whatever,
or whatever, but
people just
nothing.
came?
Yep.
Wow.
Man. In a very small area in Tokyo, there's zillions of people that live there.
Really?
So you're talking 200
su-
people.
super
It's
dense,
Not
yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah. Guess it's the same as Henzo's in New York, in Manhattan.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people there.
Yeah. Huge.
You're saying in the UK you have a lot of people coming and challenging you. You had the similar thing in Japan? People coming and challenging you.
A bit less, maybe.
The people in Birmingham were a bit rougher.
Well, not in Birmingham in general. Yeah. I think it's more like curiosity. That people come. They're tough guys. They come from other backgrounds. And before they actually accept that, okay, I want to learn from you. I want to see if you actually know what you're teaching me.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the thought. It's not, you don't take it personally. You don't consider it, not even being rude to your person. It's just a fact of life. He's going to be your student, and or you go to his academy or to his city to give a seminar. Man, are you really what you say you are? Can I have a go? Can we train? That's it. If things go rough during the training, it's fair enough. You pop a rib here or a rib there and keep on going, right?
Yeah.
It's just what it is. Everybody's friends in the end. There's no animosity.
Sure.
There's no nothing. Absolutely nothing.
There weren't any sort of challenge matches or anything in Japan or anything like that?
No. Not can I remember. Maybe one or two, yeah.
Because that was sort of the whole...
There's always one.
Yeah.
You know that. There's always somebody that, wants to have a go. Always.
A proper go?
Yeah.
Did you have anyone who want to have a proper go?
Where?
In Japan? Yeah.
Yeah, there's always a couple. Yeah. That's not a problem. Not at all.
Well, because in America, that was their whole marketing when the Gracies first went over to America, right? They put in newspapers if you want to get your arm broken.
Yeah, Carlos used to do that in his time.
In Brazil.
Yeah, if you want to get a swollen face or a black eye or a broken arm, come to my gym.
And
people show up.
And they leave with a broken arm and a swollen face.
Or that, or they get they like so much what they see that they just join the gym.
Yeah.
Not necessarily they go there to get a broken arm.
They're intrigued.
Man, this is
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
What is this about?
Because in America they were offering money, weren't they? They were offering money for anyone who could defeat them.
I don't know. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't know.
But
they had some challenges. Yeah, I remember that.
Man, they turned that into... They spun it.
Because Harden went there first.
Yeah.
Started teaching in a garage. This was in 70, if I'm not mistaken, 78. And then he took Hoyce to help him out. Helson, I think, went too. And then Hickson.
Yeah.
And just everybody started going. Hansel went to New York. And
but they took those challenge matches and they made Gracie in action, which they used to promote jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. And you had Horian talking over the top of it.
Yeah, you go to a university and, people want to have a go.
Yeah.
Or another martial art, karate, wrestling, whatever. And it's...
Do you see many of these challenge matches?
In America, no.
In Brazil?
I wasn't there. In Brazil?
Yeah.
In Brazil, the scene was already set after Carlos and Eddie.
It was established already.
Yeah, pretty much. Mm. It came from way back, them challenging other martial arts. Mm. It was already established. Jiu-jitsu was starting to get big. It started to actually grow. And it come to think of it, I came from a very small group that originated something that a family taught. And nowadays, how many people throughout the world make their living, pay their bills with our martial art. Mm. Something that we brought and took over to the entire planet. Mm. There's jiu-jitsu academies all over the globe.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All over, man. Anywhere you go, there's somebody training in some garage or whatever.
Do you ever sort of get taken back by the magnitude of how the sport's grown?
Yeah.
You take a step back and go, man, 50 years ago this was a small thing.
Yeah,
in
nobody could predict that this would be what it is. No way. Mm. You simply can't. It's impossible. when I set out to Japan, I said, well, this is interesting. But, then you start, then it started to get huge in America.
And it was because partly to do with the UFC, the original UFC.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Kind of jiu-jitsu
People
grows
were
hand in
stunned
hand
by,
with MMA, yeah.
a guy, a kid beating huge guys. That was always a concept about jiu-jitsu beating other martial artists,
Yeah.
Eddie was small. Carlson wasn't that big.
Yeah.
Stronger than Ox, but wasn't that a huge guy.
Yeah.
And Halls, even Hickson. Everybody nice and fit and all that, but, no.
Yeah.
Nothing, majorly built or something. No. So how can that guy beat that one? Doing what? Said, oh, well, that's a good thing to know.
Mm.
And in the end, nowadays, everybody knows.
Yeah, you have to.
You have to.
You have to.
To defend or to apply.
Were you at those early UFCs? Did you ever go to the events?
No, never been to UFC, no. Well,
any UFCs?
Only the one that
the Roger fought.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Oh, no, I went one here in London once.
Okay. More recently?
With Guy Ritchie.
Okay, yeah, nice.
Yeah.
What do you think of Roger doing MMA?
I think...
Is it part
in
of
the
it?
beginning, it wasn't something that I was very fond of. Stick to your jiu-jitsu matches, whatever. But he wanted to do. It was in his mind to, like a normal progression, like any other Gracie would.
But this is the whole thing: is that Gracie Jiu-Jitsu really like traditional Gracie from the source Jiu-Jitsu was so connected with Vale Tudo.
With self-defense.
Is that what it's? That's where the Vale Tudo comes from. Is the self?
Yes,
It's just that.
I can protect and defend myself against anybody and anything. And to prove that, you can come with your martial art, and I can still beat you because it would clinch.
Yeah,
and then you're useless.
Would they back in the day? Would they train stand-up boxing, Thai boxing, anything like that?
We were trained standing, yeah. Halls used to put a glove on us, and okay, you can smack him, but he can't smack you back, and you got to take him to the ground and beat him up.
But would you ever cross train in striking styles?
Boxing, yeah.
Yeah?
Mostly boxing.
And did you do that as well?
A little bit, yeah.
Did you ever fight?
No. Only in the academy.
Only in the academy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
After a lot of punching in the head, you get headaches all day long. That's annoying. Yeah.
They never got you to, you never had to fight anyone for your waves?
Oh, on the street?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Everybody did that.
Yeah? That's pretty standard.
Pretty much, yeah. Survival, right?
Do you have any good street fighting stories? That's for off air, right?
No.
So yeah, and then you came to, and then you, of course, from Japan you came to the UK.
Yeah.
When you first came to the UK, you weren't the first person to bring jiu-jitsu here.
No.
There were a couple of people already, right?
Yeah. Shamwaraj was here. Yeah, Mark Wilder was teaching as a blue belt back east.
Because Mark had gone to Hoist in Torrance, and come back with a little bit of jiu-jitsu and was starting to teach people there.
Yeah.
So how did you fit into that puzzle when you came to because you later moved down from Birmingham to London?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was a good choice. The thing is that to get the numbers up back then, it was not an easy situation. You know, if you come here with
it wasn't 280 students in 2 months.
No, man, no. A big day in the academy. If you had get to 10 would be a miracle.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it a surprise?
Lots of classes, zillions of them.
Really?
Right? There were 2, 3, and you got to join in.
Yeah.
Sometimes only one showed up.
Yeah.
You got to spar with the guy for an hour.
I've been there. Yeah.
Oh man, it's it's
Was it surprising for you after coming? You left Brazil, you went to Japan, you have 300 students in a couple of months. You're thinking, this doing jiu-jitsu in other countries thing is really easy.
I thought it would be.
And then you came to London, you were expecting similar
I went to
reception?
Birmingham first.
Birmingham? And you were expecting...
Something similar.
Similar. And it was the opposite.
Yeah. In Birmingham's cold winter, oh my God.
Yeah.
Difficult.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
So whereas in Japan you didn't have to do anything to get students in,
Nope.
in London in the UK you realised that you had to.
Well, you don't really know what to do except put at the time there was two magazines, Combat and Martial Arts Illustrated, and luckily I met Rick Young right from the get-go, and Rick used to write for Martial Arts Illustrated, so we got together since nearly 20 years ago, and he helped me.
Yeah.
Writing stuff, and then later I got an interview there, some positions. It was the only thing you could do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to hang out flyers in the streets. Nobody will just throw it away.
Yeah.
There's not much you can do, and wait. An academy to get a good development takes at least from anywhere from 2.5 to 5 years to get a solid foundation in that gym of students.
Yeah.
It takes time.
How long were you in the UK for to begin with?
When I came to London.
Yeah.
2 years?
You stayed in London for 2 years?
No, maybe 3 years, nearly 3 years.
Before you went back to Brazil?
I stayed in Birmingham, then I went to Brazil to get my other visa, and then I came back.
And you were only in London for 3 years?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
I wasn't making, I couldn't survive.
Yeah. You were just doing jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to give myself 1 day a month off.
Really?
Not even that could survive.
Yeah.
Nope, couldn't pay my bills.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me at all.
Then I gave up.
Yeah.
But then Roger was already establishing himself here. We won a Worlds, and he took over.
So that was...
And I gave Browley all the rest. Browley got Birmingham, Nottingham, the North, Jersey, Belfast, everything. We gave everything. All my work was split up and given.
Between Roger and Browley.
Yeah.
And because almost all of... Every single person who's training jiu-jitsu now can follow in the UK can pretty much follow their lineage back to you.
Well...
and sort of those old school guys, that group that you had is the Custard Factory?
Yeah.
That was in London?
No,
the one
that was in
Birmingham?
Birmingham. Yeah.
That was in Birmingham.
But there's nobody left from the Custard Factory.
Really?
No. There was one guy, his name is Peter. He visited me yesterday.
Olsen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
You know Peter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Peter. Yeah. He's the only one?
He's the only one.
Really?
Yeah. Nobody else.
Yeah. And then, so in...
there's a guy that still lives in Birmingham. He trains very little, Jabbar. That's it.
2006, you gave out your first 3 black belts.
Yeah. Mark Walder, Rick Young, and
Jude Samuels.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the 3 of them have then gone and spread and opened up, other gyms, and sort of it's all spread down from there.
And then came Kevin Chan, and then 5 more.
So a lot of people...
Steve, Darren, Gerald, the heavy, Marcus Carlson, and a French guy called Terry.
And that's all the black belts you've given out?
Yeah.
So you've only given black belts out in the UK?
Yeah. This is my base.
Yeah.
Roger gave all the rest.
You don't teach anywhere else?
No.
How comes?
I like it here.
You like it here?
Yeah.
You've got the sun on your back now, so you don't have to worry about the weather anymore.
Yeah.
So you're living in the UK now?
I live in Bicester.
Yeah. And you've been here for about a year now?
Yeah, maybe more.
Yeah.
I went to Rio in May.
Yeah.
I came back in June.
And you teach at Rogers now?
Yeah.
And you're the sort of the main instructor there, or?
Yeah, the head coach.
Okay.
I just do what I can. But I'm teaching in Bicester once a week.
Uh-huh.
And we've been living together and doing a lot of stuff together.
Yeah.
And seminars.
Yeah, so I see. So, well, the first thing I want to know is you teaching at Rogers now, is that the first time that you've had, is that the first time that you've been teaching properly since you left the UK?
Now, every time I came here, you remember it at the old gym in Kensal Road?
Yeah.
I was there all the time.
Yeah, when you were, but like, what length of periods were you coming from? There weren't sort of any permanent basis, were there?
No. Came and went, came and went.
But now you're permanent there?
Yeah, nearly. Yeah, my visa's imminent.
Yeah.
So then, yeah.
So what's that like, kind of being full-time and actually being able, it must be so different to how it was when you were full-time before in the UK, in London.
Oh, it's totally different now. There's a lot of people. Students, a lot of students.
Yeah.
Instructors helping you.
Yeah. It's easy, right?
Oh, man. It's a walk in the park. you only spar when you want to.
Yeah.
Oh,
You got the enforcers in case someone hungry comes through the door.
oh yeah. Easy. Throw them to the sharks.
You don't have to do anything.
Man, easy going, right?
So yeah, I was interested in sort of how you structure your classes with the sort of that self-defense stuff that you were talking about earlier. So do you just teach that as part of the beginners classes, or do you have separate classes?
No. It's part of the class.
It's part of the class.
Yeah, you show one or two techniques before you go to the ground in the beginning of the class.
What sort of techniques?
Defense against anything. Grab on the neck, shoulder, elbow, hand, hair, neck.
And that's not just the beginners classes, that's all the classes?
All the classes.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so interesting. That's so... I view that so alien to the standard way that jiu-jitsu is taught, whereas, of course, you would view the standard way that jiu-jitsu is taught.
Yeah, I'm annoying.
The common way that the jiu-jitsu is taught in every other gym. The only other person who, that's a lie. There's a couple of people I know who teach some Gracie self-defense stuff, but the main one is that I spoke on the podcast with was Simon Hayes, who still teaches sort of that self-defense stuff in his beginners classes. Mm-hmm. But every other gym in the country, no one's doing that stuff.
They don't know.
They don't know it.
No.
I don't know it.
You don't?
No, I don't know.
You shouldn't be saying that.
But it's true. It's true. I don't know it. I wouldn't even know. I've done some other I've done a little bit. I was doing Japanese jiu-jitsu before I started Brazilian
jiu-jitsu. In the beginning, you didn't really go through this because you had in your class guys from all other martial arts, black belts in their own division, in their own thing. So they came to you to learn ground. So that's why it got neglected at that time in the beginning. I used to teach, I always did, but nobody did.
Okay.
So, you got karate black belts or whatever. Said, oh, you want to learn that? Yeah, but I do like this, or I do like that, or in my division, okay, let's go to the ground.
Yeah.
And but this is part of the jiu-jitsu people need to know.
So what you're saying is that sort of the reason it was phased out is because 10 years ago, because there wasn't a lot of people doing jiu-jitsu, most of the people doing jiu-jitsu were coming from other martial arts. Mm-hmm. So they already had a base in self-defense stuff.
Yeah, two reasons. One is that, and the other one because they didn't know how to teach.
Yeah.
They didn't know. They never learned.
Yeah.
I did.
Well, of course you did. You were there.
Yep.
Even worldwide, how many people are still teaching this self-defense stuff?
I don't know. I have no idea. But I don't see much. I don't see many. No.
It's really rare.
Is it?
It seems to me that kind of...
I find that everywhere I teach, people, they really like it.
Yeah.
They're very curious in learning.
Yeah.
And it's useful. And you apply them on the ground as well. It's not something, And you have to understand, Why do you teach self-defense? A guy comes to your gym. He wants to learn how to defend himself,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
So
I don't know. I don't know if they all do.
Usually, that's what they do. You something happened to you, or you want to build your confidence, or you're shy, or whatever. So you go to a gym. You want to join. You want to learn the self-defense. You want to learn jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And the self-defense is
It's
part of the
it.
package.
Sure.
So you have to learn how to react if obviously, if you're going against a fighter, that's one story. That's another situation. But some random guy, some crazy person comes towards you and wants to hug you, wants to hug a girl. What's she going to do? She has to know how to slide out of it.
Yeah.
What to do, how to react. Where do I put my hands? Where am I going to yell? No. Slide throughout here and run.
Yeah.
You know how to defend against, a grip on your wrist. Somebody trying to harm you. You know how to react, what to do.
Yeah.
Where to position, how to position yourself to get out of it. Otherwise, what are you going to do? Have to do something, right?
Yeah. Paul Berimbolo.
Oh, yeah. Fine. That's good.
But do you feel that there's almost like I feel that there's a split between what I would refer to as Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is sport Jiu-Jitsu, and Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, which is the self-defense more than it is the sport Jiu-Jitsu. Do you see that as well?
People are trying to split it.
Yeah.
But they're damaging their own martial art.
Sure.
It's
they're
martial art.
They're creating another martial art, yeah.
That one originated from this.
Yeah.
And where is that going to take you? Where's it going to go from there?
Yeah.
What if your body is not athletic enough to do all those moves? How many students are you going to have in your gym?
Yeah.
What I see now is a lot of young guys before they age 30. Surgeries all over the place. What are they going to be in 20 years' time?
Is that what you mean just from doing lots of sport jiu-jitsu?
A lot of weird positions with your body, yeah? Body's not made to do all that. And then you got a slip disc, you got a bad shoulder, your elbow's gone, and your knees are all over the place.
Sounds like me.
Right?
That's how
And
I
if you
feel.
don't look after yourself,
Yeah.
in 20 years' time, you got to find another profession.
So how have you stayed rolling for so long? Not doing the silly moves?
Nope. I do jiu-jitsu.
Does that mean the silly moves isn't jiu-jitsu?
No, I'm not. It's just me being,
I know
sarcastic.
I know it is. But
you can't,
yeah.
put out the, that I consider that silly. No.
No.
It's not that at all.
Yeah.
But
it's a really
it's
interesting. It's an interesting idea that what you consider fundamental basic jiu-jitsu. Takedowns, guard pass, mount positions, chokes, arm bars, controlling the back, the basic stuff, the stuff that wouldn't, the stuff that you have seen today that you see 15 years ago, that stuff actually helps your longevity in the sport.
I think so, yeah.
Because the positions that you're putting, and when you think about, your rubber guards and your berimbolos and your inverted stuff and a lot of that stuff, there's I haven't really put much thought into it, but there's a possibility that, yeah, those are positions that your body doesn't naturally get into very well. You see a 90-kilo guy trying to do something that he's seen a 50-kilo guy do.
Yeah,
it's not going to work, is it?
No. For that aspect, that's why jiu-jitsu is so, amazing. People have different weights, different sizes, different styles, different ways to see things, and everybody creates his own style. I like to do like this. I like to do like that. That fits well for me. Maybe it won't fit well for you. But I think that in general, the basic part of everything is good for you, for me, for her, for everybody. That's the basic principle that everybody needs to learn.
Yeah.
And from that onwards, you create your own stuff. I have mine. She'll have hers. You know, it is what it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
No,
you know, I think that the basic of jiu-jitsu, everybody needs to know. If you don't, you're missing out a lot. You're missing out a lot.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I do see it as it's kind of almost two martial arts. The styles are so different.
It's fair enough to be different.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. That's what it, you know, makes it so nice. But the foundation of it all, you can't divert from that. It's been for nearly 100 years or whatever, how long that the Gracies created this song. It's been going on so well. It originated everything that we're here.
Yeah.
We would never have met.
Yeah. Yeah. So, obviously, you've been in this sport for a long time, right? How much, apart from kind of because, you know, continuing on from that, which is changes in adaptations to the scene of jiu-jitsu, what other differences have you know, how has jiu-jitsu developed and changed in the last 30 years since you've been a black belt? And I mean, like, in the way that people train, in the way that people compete, in the way that, you know, we've spoken about a couple of them already, but I'm interested to get more, you know, that's something that's really fascinating for someone who comes from the source, who learnt from Rolls Gracie and has been doing jiu-jitsu for their entire life, basically. What they've seen change, apart from the stuff that we've already mentioned.
Well, it's funny because once you're in the gym, you know, and I'm doing my lessons and I see people teaching in our academy, for example. You know, it brings back memories from back then.
Really?
It's the same thing. It just gets renewed over and over again throughout the years. New people, young people. But what jiu-jitsu brings, you know, the camaraderie, the people that you learn to respect, the people that you meet, you know, the healthy environment that it provides for everybody.
Yeah.
You know? That's the essence of jiu-jitsu, is the mentality of a healthy life.
Yeah.
Of a healthy environment, you know? And that's there. You can see that in a lot of places that I go.
Yeah.
You know, you make friends, you go, you know, friends that you make for the rest of your life. People that I've known since I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, that I meet in competitions now because everybody lives in different countries. And man, guy that broke my nose 3 times, or I broke his wrist or ankles, whatever, man. You're friends for the rest of your days.
Yeah.
And you can still see that now. I see that in Roger's gym. I see that in other places that I go. And I'm sure everybody that it's in, you see that in your gym.
Yeah.
Same thing. You know, people that join and you become friends, and that, you know, takes the rest of your life. You'll still be friends with that person.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what happens, or sometimes a person has to stop for some reason, or gets injured, or goes away, gets married, has another job, moves country, whatever, you know, but you meet him years later, you're still friends. And that this is the whole essence, you know, of this sport. You know, and you still know how to defend yourself.
Yeah.
against any kind of awkward situation that might happen in your life. Or anywhere you go in the world today, you bring your gi and you're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the coolest things about it.
Man, that's so nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can visit people, meet people, exchange ideas. You know, and everybody is the same. When you put your gi on, you step on the mat, you leave everything out, don't you?
Yeah.
It's you, your person, and that angry white pajamas, or now there's a lot of other colors.
Other colored.
But-
Pink pajamas.
Yeah, pink, red, black, blue, whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. But, nobody knows what car you came in, how big's your house, how much you have in the bank. Nothing matters at all.
It's a nice equalizer, isn't it?
Man, it's wonderful.
More questions I've got written down. Everyone wants to know one thing about you, Mauricio. And that's about your knee. Your famous knee. Your knee that goes on people's bellies. Okay?
It doesn't really go on anybody's belly.
It goes on their chests.
No.
Where's it go?
Outside the body. My shin is across your chest,
Your
but
shin.
all my weight's on top of it.
Shin on chest. If your name is mentioned to anyone, they talk about you by far have the most famous knee on belly of anyone in the world. Firstly, how did you develop that?
It started with Halls.
He used that position a lot.
He made me use it. Yeah, he used it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is there anything special you're doing with it?
No.
Just a lot of practice, yeah.
A lot of years.
Yeah.
Yep.
When did you first start? Really, is it your favorite position?
One of them.
Yeah. When did you start really thinking that I like putting all of my weight through my shin on someone's chest?
Since the first one started making weird noises and funny faces underneath it. I don't know then when that was.
Yeah.
I really don't. But it's something that works really well, and I've been doing it a long, long time. And I developed, when you like a position a lot, you start adding and developing a lot of bits and pieces to it. This one I got nicely.
Yeah.
I got well.
That's what I hear. I've actually been under your knee a couple of times, so I do know. So I know about that. Do you watch much jiu-jitsu?
Nope.
Just Roger?
Yeah, Roger, the gym or places that I teach.
You don't watch any competitions or anything? So you're not...
The last one that I watched was Roger's 2010.
Yeah.
Not really.
So you don't have... There's no one else that you're really following in the competition scene?
No.
No. You're interested in Roger, and that's it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Makes sense. That cancels out a couple of my other questions. Who do you think the best is after Roger, though?
It's difficult to put a name on. You got to put several names after that. I can't pick one. Mainly, in my opinion, I would name the guys that Roger used to fight a lot. Shandy Jacare, Homer Bahal, and others that came with that,
that generation.
Or Saulo or Tarsis or Tererê. Man, so many talented guys that came up with Roger throughout his fighting years. It's difficult to name one. Yeah. But all of them with a lot of respect and
I guess you probably followed a lot of their careers via Roger.
Yeah, because we
were
there.
The same people all the time.
We were there throughout all of the competitions. Yeah. And you meet them, you meet their coaches, or I know them, know the coaches, whatever. And it's you're fighting. It's there's that competition at that moment, but after that, your friends. You go out, have a juice, have a coffee, have a talk. There's not much to it. There's no real animosity towards one or the other. There's rivalry, but in the end of the day, now they're all friends. Lovato fought Roger. He was at the gym this week.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
They trained.
Yeah. Speaking of rivalries, one of the things that Simon was saying when he was on the podcast, he actually had a story about you. It was a nice story about you.
Mm-hmm.
But it was about, and kind of the question I want to ask was about team loyalty and training with different academies and stuff like that. And his story was basically that when do you know Simon?
Of course I do.
Yeah, and
he likes to yell, Carlson Gracie.
That's the one.
Yep.
That's the one. But Simon had a nice story about you, which is when Carlson Gracie was getting refurbed or getting rebuilt, and he didn't have anywhere to train, so he came to train at Gracie Baja, where I believe you were the instructor at the
Club
time.
Kensington.
Yeah. And he was training there for a little while, and one day you came in and you politely asked him, who you're going to train with, who you're going to represent, and he decided that he was going to stick with Carlson's, and you said, come and train in this class, and you had you trained with him and kind of was real friendly with him, and then he went off, and that's kind of what made him understand the importance of loyalty and teams and stuff in jiu-jitsu.
Well, I think that you can put it that way about loyalty or whatever, but that's not really the point at that moment. Or it was a simple fact that, nowadays there's a lot of, well, not even nowadays, even back then, if you're my friend, or if I know you, right, and you want to train at my gym with me or whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
Right? And in a one-off situation or another, you want to have a go at the students, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But if you want to train at a gym regularly,
yeah,
right, but in the end of the month, you're going to fight against those guys.
Yeah.
That's
not cool.
It puts the whole thing in a very peculiar situation, right? Because you're teaching both, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to fight each other.
Yeah.
So how's that going to play out? So it's, it's just a matter of, listen, you either fight for one or for the other. And not that you can't train here once in a while. That's not the point. But, on a regular basis, be all one environment, one academy, and, okay, then they're going to fight against each other in some tournament. That becomes a bit awkward, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And I know that there are some gyms that don't like people from other gyms even stepping on the mats there. Like, personally, I don't have a problem with it.
No, I see in our gym, there's always some visitors from other academies. That's not a problem at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
But yeah, a lot of people have sort of the opposing views, which is this whole, and I don't agree with it, but the whole, I'm the customer, I can go where I want, I'm paying my money. If I want to be a member of two gyms, I can be a member of two gyms.
Well, as long as one doesn't find out about the other, yeah, sure. Because they're going to put you in a very
awkward position.
Yeah, because in the end of the day, if you're not a competitor, then maybe I just don't see much point to that.
Yeah.
Why would you be a member of two gyms?
Yeah.
We're going to pay two gyms?
Yeah.
Why? Choose one.
Yeah.
And stick with that one.
Yeah.
In the end, you're teaching that guy a lot of stuff. You're putting a lot of effort in doing so. And he goes off and, to another gym. Okay, you're if you want to change gyms, fine. But you can't train in two. You have to choose one.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I don't know.
I think most instructors kind of feel the same way.
Yeah. If you have a student.
Yeah.
And that guy trains with you a lot, but he also trains in another gym.
Yeah.
How would that make you feel?
I have. I do have some. I do because, and I tell you why. Because I just teach no-gi.
Okay.
So there are a lot of. I have a number of students who are members of my no-gi program and members. They train gi elsewhere.
Oh, they train gi elsewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, but they do the no gi with you.
Yeah.
So that's a different modality altogether.
Yeah,
Even though it's
Do you see
relate-
do you see it very differently, gi and no-gi?
Yeah, of course.
Really?
Yeah. If you train a long time without the gi, and then you put your gi back on and go train with the guys with gi, you'll get stuck.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you do much no-gi training?
No,
Did you ever?
I did a lot.
Well, you were wrestling back in the day, right?
Yeah. But I like the gi.
You like
That's
the gi?
my point. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really, really like the gi.
Yeah.
I love it, actually.
Yeah.
It's easier for somebody to take the gi off and start sparring with no gi than the
opposite.
other way around. Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
Mm.
I know. It is. You're not used to somebody holding on to you.
Yeah. But then a lot of people who take the gi off aren't used to aren't used to not being able to hold on to someone else. Easier to adapt.
It's easier to adapt like that than the other way around.
Yeah, I agree with that. So another question that I got to ask to you, which is, especially in the UK, but also worldwide, obviously Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, when it comes to getting your black belt, is by far the hardest martial art to get your black belt in. The black belt is the most elite. If you compare them to other martial arts, you get karate, you can do it in a couple of years. Judo, if you do you go through the belts as fast as you can do it, basically, and then you do your lineup and you can get it in a couple of years. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu takes a famously long amount of time of hard, consistent training to get your black belt. But obviously, and it goes to show, it was 10 years ago that you gave out your first 3 black belts, right?
Oh, wow.
2006. 11 years
time.
ago. Yeah. 11 years ago, you gave out those first 3 black belts. And there were I believe that there were a couple of other black belts in the UK, but for those who had got it from Brazil, from different countries.
So they got in 2006.
Yeah.
And they were already blue belts when they came to me in 1999.
Yeah.
1998.
So they got 8 years. That's actually not that long
That's
for modern day
reasonable.
standards. Yeah.
That's a minimum.
Yeah, it is, yeah. That's actually not long at all. 11 years ago, there were about 5 black belts in the UK. Do you know how many black belts there are in the UK today?
No idea.
Close to 400.
That's good.
That's crazy, right?
That's good.
It's insane.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. The question is, do you believe that, and obviously worldwide, if you go to America, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of black belts everywhere you go, and in Brazil as well. Do you think that it's inevitable that the sort of, not the standard, but that sort of elite level of the black belt is going to be watered down to more like other martial arts? Do you think that the standard of what a black belt is will inevitably be watered down to lower? Or is that down to...
Well, that's a difficult question.
Yeah.
I think that it takes time to get your black belt and a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
Right? And unfortunately, what we see nowadays is that there's a lot of black belts out there that you don't even know how the guy received this belt.
Yeah.
And him giving out another black belt.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Unfortunately, you might see, but I think that happens in any sport, right?
Yeah, I think I agree.
It's not only jiu-jitsu.
No, I think that happened. I think that's happened with every martial art, which is why it is like it is.
In every martial art,
but they're just older than jiu-jitsu is.
Yeah,
yeah.
And, unfortunately, these are things that come up with the development of the sport worldwide.
Yeah,
there's no control over that. You can't control that.
Yeah,
what are you going to do? The guy, he has his gym in the middle of forsaken whatever, I don't know.
Mm.
You know, he got his black belt. You don't even know how. Some
Yeah.
people are, you know, if depending on how long is the flight, they get there with a new belt. You've seen that happen over the years. I've seen that happen over the years. A guy, you know, he left here as a purple belt. It took so long to get back to Brazil. He was a brown belt when he got there.
Black belt under British Airways.
Oh man, yeah. So you know, these things happen.
But you don't. There's nothing that we can really. That's just inevitable, right?
Nothing you can do.
Yeah.
What I think that's really, really good is that you look for somebody that's recognized,
Yeah.
right? So, and in my opinion, the IBJJF does that quite well. At
Yeah.
least it's a solid, you know, you have your certificate from them. You know that it's at least real.
Mm.
You know, if somebody doesn't have anything to show on his behalf in that aspect, you know. There's internet these days, you know. That's so
It's easy to find people out,
to
eh?
find, yeah, a lot of fakes out there.
Mm. What's your training like now these days?
My training.
Yeah.
Well, you teach every day. You end up sparring a bit here and there, a bit every day,
Yeah.
and just keep it like that. Some days you do more, some days you do less. Last Wednesday, I sparred half an hour nonstop with Darren.
Really?
Yeah, that was good.
Mm.
You know, it's something that I don't stop. I can't stop.
Yeah.
No.
Well, the next question was going to be what keeps you motivated, but it seems like it's not an issue.
No.
You just love jiu-jitsu.
Yep. Always did. Always have. Always will.
Yeah. I think a lot of people really struggle with that
With what?
motivation in jiu-jitsu.
Well, if you do something that you love, then the motivation is right there.
Do you think that's just because you can't remember a time where you never did jiu-jitsu?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Or you're in the sofa watching TV and all of a sudden you put your partner in the guard.
Yeah.
Work your way out. You start sparring in the living room. Takedowns in the hallway. Oh, man.
It's incredible that after someone's done the sport for over 50 years that they're still as enthusiastic about it as ever.
Oh man, that's not gonna go away. No way. I wake up every morning and said, okay, what can I teach today? Where am I gonna teach?
Yeah.
That's all I care. Now I have mats in my house. I can train in the garage.
You can do it whenever you want.
Yep. We train there.
So yeah, we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but nowadays you're the head instructor at Roger Gracie Academy, and you're doing a seminar tour at the moment.
Yep.
So what are you teaching anything in particular on the tour, or are you teaching people knee or belly?
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people ask for that.
I'm not surprised.
Right?
It's like people asking Roger to show him how to do a cross choke from mount, right?
Well, yeah.
It's what you're known for.
Yeah.
Just like that's what Roger's known for. Do you teach self-defense stuff in your seminars?
Always.
Really?
Always. I explain to them that it's to make a point, but at least 2 or 3 self-defense, I always start the seminar with that.
Wow.
Always.
The only person that I've seen do that
And
is...
they really, really like it.
Really?
It's very well received. And it's amazing. You see higher belts that have no idea what you're doing.
Of course. Because it's like a different martial art for some people.
Shouldn't be, but
That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
What was there down here? You are going to be... do you do a lot of privates? You teach a lot of private classes at RGA?
No.
No?
No.
But people can get that from you.
Yeah.
Where do people need to... do you know? I'm looking at... Who should I be looking at? How do people can get in contact with you?
if they want to do that? Book seminars, book privates, anything like that?
Through Natalie.
Go on, Natalie. Who?
It's natnick@live.co.uk.
natnick@live.co.uk. I'll put a link to all of this stuff. You're gonna be doing camps there
Where?
at the farm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Small workshops. That's what my intention is.
Is that sort of what you're focusing on at the moment? Is sort of expanding your teaching stuff that you're doing in the UK?
Yeah. My focus is to share my knowledge to as much people as I can. As much people that want to learn a bit of, the jiu-jitsu that I have been practicing for so long. And there's no, they won't regret it. It's a solid apprenticeship. I can guarantee that.
Because for you now, you're with Roger. Roger's career must have taken up so much of your effort and time and thought for so long.
So many days, hours, months, traveling, and it's okay. But, or he's away and I had to teach nonstop at his gym without one single break because there was nobody there to teach, or maybe one person. So, now finally, I think now he's going to settle down, look after his gym, his affiliates, whatever he has to do. And I can now have a little bit of, time for me.
Freedom.
For my life, I'm settled. I have a house.
Yeah.
I'm living with somebody.
Yeah.
And
then working on, focusing on spreading your jiu-jitsu a bit more.
Yeah. For those who want.
Yeah, I'll put all the information if anyone wants to do that. And Roger's just launched a subscription site, right? Sorry. Roger Gracie TV, yeah?
Oh, I did a lot of stuff there.
You're filming stuff for that?
Yeah, a lot.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Self-defense stuff?
All sorts.
Really?
Yeah. I'm kind of trying to register everything I know there.
Document it all?
Yeah. Self-defense. The famous neon belly is there.
Oh.
Escapes, sweeps.
Yeah.
Stuff here, there, drills. Loads of things. Different stuff.
And do you continually film stuff for there? Or
This week I filmed like loads of things, maybe nearly 20 positions.
Wow.
Next week I'll do more. I'll keep on doing.
Awesome.
Put there as much as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sort of what other stuff are you up to these days?
Not much. Enjoying life.
Enjoying life.
Yeah.
We've done almost 3.5 hours.
Really?
Yeah. Goes really fast,
You
doesn't
can
it?
talk, eh?
Mate. you can talk. Luckily, you can talk.
I never do. I'm a quiet guy.
Oh, no. Not today. Thankfully not. So, yeah, kind of as we finish off, is there any, always kind of, especially for you, anything that you'd like to say, kind of lessons that you'd like to leave with the audience? Advice or whatever you want to say to them?
They say that if advice was good, we'd be selling it, right? So, man, not really. It just, it's just a little bit of history here of our martial art that we like so much. A little bit of me, a little bit of my son, of what we did, what we do, what we will still do to the rest of my days, and. I'm really, really happy to have come here. I never do these things, ever.
I know. I'm very lucky. I really appreciate you coming.
It's you and Natalie's fault. But, I really, really enjoyed it. It was really nice talking to you.
Yeah.
And, the message is, just keep on training.
Yeah.
As best as you can. And, it's a real good thing to do. I've been doing my entire life, literally, all of it. And I've seen jiu-jitsu save so many people. And, it's really cool to have this.
Yeah.
And it's my pleasure to share whatever I have to share with whoever.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
I just want to say, genuinely, really, really appreciative for you to come on. I know that you don't do this stuff a lot. I know that you don't like to talk too much about yourself, and you never have, which is why I've kind of
This is the first time.
Yeah, well, there you go. This is, I'm going to market this as an exclusive. But you were, without blowing smoke up your ass too much, you were the main person that I wanted to get on this when I started this podcast. You were the number one person, just because I knew not only were you there at the beginning, do you have a lot of history in jiu-jitsu, and you're such an important figure for jiu-jitsu in the UK. Everyone who does jiu-jitsu in the UK owes you something, even if it's just gratitude for what you've done to help build and establish Brazilian jiu-jitsu in the UK. I don't know whether no doubt jiu-jitsu would be around in the UK if it wasn't for you, but it certainly wouldn't be what it is today, because you had a big part in playing that. So I always wanted to get, it was a really, really big goal of mine to have you on here. So I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story with us.
It's my pleasure, man.
Yeah.
And, well, it's good that we managed to get these words out, and I hope everybody can enjoy what we had to say, and basically that's it. No major, nothing. I've been doing a lot of charity work with Seamus for the British Army.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's really
We haven't
nice.
even spoken about that. We spoke about that on the podcast that I did with those guys.
Yeah.
But I know you kind of help out with a lot of that army stuff, yeah.
Man, you see veterans learning jiu-jitsu to recover.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah, it's incredible.
Oh, man, that's priceless.
Yeah. The thing, for me, the thing about jiu-jitsu is, for me personally, look, that's what I do for a living, but, if I didn't do that, I could do something else. It's something that I do for sport and for entertainment. I enjoy doing it. It's a hobby for me. But past that, it's not really that significant for me, in that, I love doing it, obviously, but it's just a game, basically. It's just a sport. But for some people, that sport can save their lives.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the humbling thing about Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And I'm sure you've trained way more people than I have, but even people I've trained, you see people kids come in who have no self-confidence.
Oh, you see that all the time.
And then suddenly
yeah.
they flower, they blossom into these incredible people, or people who come in, adults who have been bullied, or that they don't have much self-esteem, or they're depressed.
Yeah.
And then through Brazilian jiu-jitsu, which for me is, it's just a sport.
You see that all the time.
But it can
see
be so
that
much
in Natalie's classes. Man, the people that she helps, man, kids, women, ladies, man, so much. It's amazing.
It's a very powerful form.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's really, really very, and to see where I came from, from that little, relatively small group, man, look where it's at now.
Yeah.
Man, it's breathtaking.
Yeah, it is.
It really, really is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
I can't even imagine to have come from, you're the group that you were with back in the 60s and 70s were just a seed
Of all this.
of everything.
Of everything.
Yeah.
Well, here I am. I hope. I was worried because when you speak another language, you have to think in that language.
It doesn't sound like you have to think too much when you talk.
Because if I start thinking in Portuguese, I get all messed up. That's why when I avoid these things.
Should I tell you a funny story about Roger talking Portuguese?
Yeah.
I was just to finish off. I was competing in the finals of the Europeans when I was a blue belt. I think I was 17, and I'd messed up my arm, so it was I'd had 4 or 5 fights at that point. I was in the finals, and it might have been semi-finals, but it was for a medal regardless. And Roger's on the side, and I'm fighting this guy. He's from Portugal, and I look over, and Roger's shouting in Portuguese. So I'm thinking, Roger's thrown me under the bus. He obviously knows this other guy, and he's coaching this other guy. And he's coaching this other guy because he's speaking Portuguese. But of course, he wasn't coaching the other guy. He was coaching me, but he just completely forgot and was talking Portuguese.
Oh man!
So yeah,
you get familiar with the person, and I speak Portuguese with her all the time.
Yeah.
And I say, "Oh man, she doesn't."
You need to learn.
It's funny. Language just comes out.
Yeah. So,
but
I
I
experienced
think
that.
I think we did okay today.
Man, it was awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome. I loved it, and I think people are really going to enjoy this.
I hope so.
So I'll put all the information for any, for all the stuff that you're doing, and to contact you with. I'm super busy at the moment, but I'd love to be able to get to one of your seminars.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I'd really, really like to do that. So we're trying to sort that out. And I'll put all the links up at the end. I'm going to mention it in a second when I do that outro anyway. But yeah, once again, Mauricio, thank you for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
That is it, guys. Quite a conversation. Really, really a huge honor for me to be able to sit down with someone like Mauricio Gomes, and someone that I have an immense amount of respect for. And it really was an honor to sit down with him. And I hope you guys enjoyed listening. Like I said in the podcast, if you want to find any more information, you can just search stuff, but I'll make it easier for you. He is on Facebook as Mauricio Gomes, UK Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu head coach. It's a little bit of a long one, but if you search for him, he does have a Facebook page. You can find out stuff about the academy at rogergracie.com. For Roger Gracie TV, simply search for Roger Gracie. Well, it's rogergracietv.com. And if you want to book any private sessions, seminars, workshops, camps, anything like that with Mauricio, then the person that you want to be contacting is natnick@live.co.uk. That's natnic@live.co.uk. And I'll put the links in the description to this episode anyway. But just really, really cool to get to talk to Mauricio. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like the podcast and you're not already subscribed to it, the podcast is hosted on iTunes, on SoundCloud, and on Stitcher Radio. I believe there's the function to subscribe to all, in some capacity to all three of those. You can follow me on Facebook on my personal profile, or you can follow me on Instagram at raspberry_ape. Thank you guys very much for listening as always. And I hope you enjoyed today, and I will catch you next time. Take it easy.